You have your fear, which might become reality. And you have Godzilla, which is reality.
I'm sick of Godzilla.
Wake up, Megalon!
There are two things you don't know about the Earth. One is me, and the other is Godzilla.
We're safe now. No human being can understand that. The monsters on Monster Island can understand it.
Whether he returns or not, or is never again seen by human eyes, the things he has taught us remain.
Cool. We're back. Jay Key, my friend, my co-host. We're back on Monster Island. How are you doing, dude?
Good. Who are you? I haven't seen you in forever.
I don't even remember how to start a show. I just mumble through show Jay monsters, dude. I'm good, man. I feel like I haven't been here in, I don't know, weeks and weeks, and I guess that's kind of true. But
it is true.
I'm doing well, and I'm so glad to be back here, man. Doing this show with you, being calm and chill, and in my house talking about toys. How are you doing, man?
Good. At first, I thought you were gonna, didn't even know where you're at. You were gonna introduce like, "Welcome to Toy Anxiety" or "Welcome to YHS." But hey, you've had good reason. You've had good reason to be gone because you've literally gone coast to coast multiple times over the last month. For some
I don't know what
stuff.
I don't know what time it is. I don't know what day it is. All I know is that I'm going back to the other side of the country again in a couple weeks, and I'm already dreading trying to find out what I'm going to watch on the airplane.
Oh man, that is
no
a first world problem.
No kaiju movies on the airplane.
You got to bring your own.
Delta? Hey, Delta. I want Godzilla versus Megalon on my flight. Make it happen.
I think more people would fly if that was the case. Maybe you have to get to a certain status to get Godzilla versus Megalon.
It's only in the first class.
Yeah, I know, right? But no,
first class gets Shin. The one right behind it gets like Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
But then like standard has to watch Godzilla's Revenge.
Which
I'm okay with.
Yeah. Or standby middle seat next to the restroom gets Godzilla versus Megaguirus. No, those people are driving. They're not even flying. But Jake, I honestly, it is great to have you back, and I am just ready to deliberate, prognosticate, and commentate on these chaotic quarrels of kaiju combat. And who better to do it with than the tattooed titan of tokusatsu tournaments and the bracket busting badass of battling beasts. He's Mr. Jacob Walsh, and he's back on Monster Island.
Jay, you don't know how much you miss that until you hear it again. That's amazing. I don't deserve that. Thank you so much, man. I'm so excited to do this weird episode that we got coming up. And I don't mean weird. I never use the word weird as a bad thing. You kind of came up with this idea to do like a kaiju showdown and get other community members in here and see who they would pick, kaiju versus kaiju. And I'm excited to let these people do the work tonight and to get to watch them. And I right off the bat, I want to go ahead and just thank everybody who sent in their videos and participated in this. And Jay, thank you for setting this up, man.
Hey, no worries. It's pretty awesome. The community really turned out. And I'm talking from like mega artists, like people that like, if you know a little bit about kaiju, these people, to YouTubers, influencers, everybody that you can think of, people that are tied into popular kaiju magazines and everything. Like it's just, it's a little bit of everything, and a really cool, diverse community. I'm really pumped. And I think I lost count, but there's like 14 or 15 or 16 or so people that are going to be talking tonight about these amazing matchups. I'm really pumped.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm excited to get into that. But I think, first of all, I think we got to talk about some toys.
Yeah. And I agree. And, if this is your first time watching us, normally we would talk about the news. And we had Superfest Extra Volume 3 out there. We had some reveals there.
There's some stuff. But
there's stuff or what we've watched. But no, we got to do pickups because, whoa. I mean, I don't want to I don't want to give anything away, but you have a pretty big pickup tonight. So I'm excited.
I got a good one, yeah.
Yeah, but I'll get some of mine out of the way.
Okay.
To clear room for your big one. But I had a good last couple of weeks on pickups as well. A couple really cool pieces. The first one, I don't think I've owned. I've had some through Toku Toy Town, but I don't think I've ever owned anything from Yamomark. And it's a Sofubi player out there. And for those that know me and know within the realm of Ultraman and Ultra Kaiju, my favorite is Showa-Down from the Monster Graveyard because dude just wants to get back home, right? And I found this awesome Yamomark Showa-Down. It's just him with his hands behind his back, like walking around. It's like it's clear, it's translucent, and it comes with the rocket they painted to look like Ultraman, so he would jump on it and fly home. So it comes with the little clear one. Like, look at this guy. I mean,
dude, he just looks like. I love that pose. Something about putting kaiju in like human poses. I know they're like kind of human-esque anyway because they're just people in suits, but when it's like that, I love that shit, dude. That's an awesome pickup, man.
Yeah, I love it. I don't have a huge Ultraman and Ultra Kaiju collection. I really am pretty, I don't know, pretty selective because you can go crazy. There's so many, right?
Yeah.
And so I pick like my favorite ones, and that was like, if I see a really cool Showa-Down, I'll usually pick it up. The other thing is, and my continuing collection of Biogoji 89s from Marasan, I do have the pink marble that they glow in the dark that they released. But they came out with one that's slightly a different pattern.
How are there still more of these?
Yeah, I know. So it's still the pink one, but this one has a little bit more of the glow head. Like it's a little bit, So I had to pick him up.
That looks like it, dude. That looks like a starburst, and I want it. That looks like I want to eat it.
Yeah, pink lemonade Godzilla, and so I have a row of nothing but pink Godzilla 1989. That's ridiculous. And then the other two things I love so much because everybody knows I love Marasan. I love all that they do with glitter, and we know I love Anguirus. And this is my first glitter Anguirus. Look at this 55 Anguirus version, and it's a red glitter from Marasan. I love it. Yeah,
dude. That's not. It's weird. Like when you get into toy collect, I know Anguirus is one of your favorites. Yeah, he's never been one of mine. Yeah, but I've noticed that like recently, I have found myself wanting to buy more of the kaiju that I've never in my life given a shit about. And that is a beautiful toy.
Yeah, and it's not the over the top glitter. I mean, I don't know there's such thing as subtle glitter because if it's glitter, it's not subtle. But it's definitely more strategically placed than really what I'm about to show you, but also like the glitter Biogojis that I've shown off and stuff. But I just needed it, and I love their 55 sculpt.
It's a good one.
Yeah, but the big one for me this week, we had it as a news item when it was when they announced they were going to release it at a pop-up. Marasan, and I said, this might be my ultimate Sofubi item. And so I got it. It's blue. It's big. It's glitter. It is the blue glitter King Ghidorah with the rainbow wings, the original suit design, translucent vinyl with the glitter. Actually, it's I'm guessing, it is actually a translucent vinyl. But look at this guy.
First of all, that's beautiful. Second of all, blue and yellow matches my blue and yellow here.
There you go.
And it just looks like that's a match meant to be. That's a beautiful toy, man. Look at that thing. Yeah. I feel like when we show off toys, it's a lot of you showing something and me being like, "That's a beautiful toy. That's a beautiful toy, dude." I love toys so much, and even when it's like stuff that I don't usually. In my collection, there's not a ton of Ghidorah. There's not a lot of it. And it's just not, I love him, but he's not one that I gravitate to as far as figures. But then when I see that, Jay, I'm telling you, man, like since doing this show, since we started this, since YHS started Toy Anxiety alone, before we even started Monster Island, hanging out with Craig and Abby and doing Toy Anxiety and Ryan and just watching, it fucks you up, man. Like all I want to do is buy toys, and I'm pulled in so many directions. And
Yep.
now all I want is glitter, dude. All I want in my life is glitter.
That's a dangerous rabbit hole.
It's a beautiful toy. Why is glitter so expensive? It's
I
just
don't know.
glitter.
It's just glitter. It's just glitter. It makes no sense.
I've always hated glitter in my life, as far as just it being out, just because
Yep.
it's messy and it's all over the place, and I don't like it. But now I dream about glitter.
It is weird. It's like Sophie can like take glitter or like unpainted. Like if you're like, here's an unpainted, not a prototype, but just unpainted, but yet they're desirable in Sophie. A clear version of something. No
Clear.
paint. See right through it.
Dude.
Yes.
That's what I love so much about that Night Raid Gigan, is the fact that he's translucent and there's glitter in him.
Yeah.
There's something about the like combination that just looks fancy to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just looks nice. I want to eat it.
Like,
I want to
like
physically ingest it.
Yeah, it's like somebody was like, I'm going to make a piece of art that is beautiful and amazing, and that's what gets spit out, and it's amazing. And hey, I feel you on the King Ghidorah stuff, because with those wings, you have to be strategic.
That's part of it.
I mean, I have this one, I have 1X Plus, and I have a Marmot, and then that's it.
Yeah, I got a few things here and there, but it's just It's like, calm down, dude.
I know, right?
Stop taking up so much space. Yeah.
But that's it. I mean, I have one, but I know you have got this one as well. But yeah,
we can do it at the same time. Go for it. Yeah.
Well, no, I'll let you do it, because I feel this guy is he's yours. I mean, he's a Jacob Walsh, Walsh. Not Kaiju, I guess, but
then I'll go for it. I believe we both got our Mondo Jet Jaguars in the mail, and here we go. Now, I like this a lot. Jay, I want to have a conversation with you about it, because I think, if you don't mind me saying, you're a little underwhelmed by this toy. Yeah. And I'll tell you first what my only complaint was, which is not a fault of them, but I wish it was in scale with my Death Jaguar. Yeah, that's it. 100%. Because it's the same. It's basically the same sculpt. It's pretty similar. It's the same, Rocom, and like. Other than that, I like this a lot. I like how nice and shiny and clean it looks. Yeah, I like this sculpt. I'm very happy with this. Other than I wish it was 2 inches taller, but I could say that about every figure I've ever bought. I wish they were all 2 inches taller.
We all wish we were.
I want to hear your what you were underwhelmed with. Yeah,
so it's almost less of a I'm underwhelmed with this specific toy. It's more kind of the Mondo approach to Sophie, and it's not it's bad. Okay, because first off, I love Rocom toys. I love Death Jaguar. Like I have one right there.
Yes,
it's one of my favorite pieces. And I had the same commentary, I think, with the Umi variant of Godzilla 84, which I have right over here off camera from Mondo, and the Hedras as well. I feel like they're in this middle space to where I don't get as much charm as I do from this as I do from some of my other Jet Sophie items, like traditional ones, where they're like, it's intentionally Sophie, right?
Yeah.
But yet it doesn't play into the other realm of it's realistic looking or whatever, because obviously the oversized head and everything like that. So I feel like this and that one, they don't win on either's camp to me. So I don't have this desire to like, oh my gosh, I need to collect every variant of this, or I want to collect every variant, even if, and the cost for the quality of work and everything, great, no complaints there.
Yeah.
I have no technical issues with anything about this figure. It's to me like it's a theoretical or philosophical issue with kind of their approach and what they're doing. I just don't know where it fits in my personal collection. So like, I'm keeping it. I'm not reselling it. It's going to live right up there next to my Godzilla 84 from Mondo. But, I just don't know where they fit.
I understand that, and I see what I understood that a lot about your Godzilla. The thing that gives this a little bit more to me, like I didn't buy any of the Hedoras. I didn't buy any of the Godzillas, kind of for the same reason. I was like, you know what? I like these. They're cool. But I'd rather have like maybe an actual Sofubi. I felt the same, and I didn't buy any of them. Yeah. But the reason I was so excited to pick this one up is because I like that they went with they brought in somebody who was already kind of on their own making kaiju figures.
Yeah.
I think the Death Jaguar is such a cool, fun idea. And they were, kind of building up their name, and that's been out there for a while. And I was like, I just was really excited that they picked those guys to do it. So to me, that put a little bit of charm into it that I didn't get with the Godzilla or the
100%. Yeah.
So I'm happy with it.
Yeah. I'm buying this as because I think Rocom Toys does amazing stuff.
Exactly. Same.
And they did. They did.
Yeah. And I don't think unless they unveil a color that I'm just like blown away by. Yeah. My plan was always just to buy the one that looks
most likely
regular jet, and that's it. But I mean, this came in, and I got a couple jets over here, and I'm looking at them and like, I like this better than one or two of the other actuals. Nice. I was like, oh, it's better. It looks better than this one. So
yeah,
I'm happy with it. I just wish it was in scale with Death Jaguar. That's the only thing. It would have been so cool to have it like put them side by side because they're so similar in the sculpt. But
the good and the bad, the yin and the yang.
Yeah,
it also could use some glitter. It also gets.
Dude, hey, maybe they're gonna put out a glitter one. All right, we'll see.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny. I just sold I got it through and it helped out one of actually a guy you'll see tonight. He has this awesome Marathon 450, so like the big 12 or 14 inch tall, the jet with that's translucent and has the glitter. It's freaking amazing. But it's not a cheap piece, but it's pretty cool.
I don't want to see it.
Yeah, and I'm not. Hey, Mondo, I love you. Rocom, I love you. I'm not mad. I haven't hooked on to the Mondo Sofubi train yet.
It's just hard to go all in on American new Sofubi when there is a giant fucking well of beautiful, amazing Japanese toys that are very unique and go all the way back to the fucking 60s, 70s, whatever. Like so it's weird to be like, well, I'm gonna buy the American version of it. It's like, no, get this one. Unless you just are made of money and you don't care and you can just buy them all. So
and hey, I think you're right though. Them attaching it to popular artists that we know here, like I think that's a hook. I mean, I can't wait for the Tom Whalen and the Attack Peter and all their other artists that they use a lot to have their kaiju in Sofubi form. Then that's when I'll be all in.
Right.
It's just, and I think, like I said, if this wasn't Rocom, if they had this, and first off, probably wouldn't have been as good because Rocom's awesome. But like, if it wouldn't have had them, and I would have already been like such a fan of Death Jaguar, I don't know if I picked that up as much as I love Jet. But I think that was the biggest selling point, is just because I know Rocom, they're awesome, and I like to collect a lot of their stuff because they do really cool stuff. Right.
I mean, I know, I don't remember what convention it was, but they teased that there's a Biollante, like Mondo's doing some Biollante stuff, and even though off the top of my head I can't remember exactly what it looked like, I'm gonna buy that, but I'm only gonna do that because I'm in love with Biollante. So
and it'll be good. It'll be good.
I'll buy that. I got one more thing.
Just a little thing.
I'll just show this one thing. This thing has been on a list of mine, I believe. Did I put this on our list? I put this on our Grail list.
I think it was number 1 or number 2.
Was it? I think it probably was, because it's also been on my. We do like a YHS list at the end of the year of like top 10 things we want to pick up at some point, and I think it's been on there like 3 times. But I'll just go ahead and I'm going to grab the top part of the box first. I already got it out of the box, but
it's ridiculous.
Can you see this box?
Oh yeah.
I found the fucking Cloverfield figure. This is Hasbro. What is it? Hasbro Signature Series is what it says. This came out whatever year Cloverfield did. I can't remember, 2000 and something. It was a very small number. They weren't sold in stores. It was online only. This was $100 when it came out, and I'm an idiot for not buying it when it was $100. It's the only fucking Cloverfield anything. I have wanted this for so long, dude. Since then, I've never seen this in real life. I don't know anybody else who has one or cares to have one. I've never seen it in a toy store. I've watched it on eBay for a while, but they're so expensive, kind of hard to find them complete. We stopped at a store in New Jersey called House of Fun. I've been there once before. It's the best toy store I've ever been in. It was so hard. I was sending you all these pictures of Safubi being like, Jay, how much are should I buy this? Should I buy this? And I was happy to learn that some of his Safubi was a little overpriced, because then it made my decision to just buy the Cloverfield toy much easier, which
that was my evil plan.
There's no way I wasn't going to buy that.
Yeah.
Everybody would yell at me if I came out of that store and didn't buy this.
Hey, you know what? It's not going to get any cheaper.
So it's like, not. Yeah. It's expensive. It's a very expensive toy.
Yeah.
The box opens
That's
up,
so
and it's kind of got a display here. It comes with, and this is complete. It's got the instructions in here. Everything's still in its This is the Statue of Liberty's severed head still in its bag, not opened. So cool. I know you can't see it. I don't know if the scale is correct on the head, but and then there's interchangeable. This is the I know it's kind of hard to see.
Yeah.
That's upside. I'm showing it to you upside down. That's the closed mouth head, and there is a little compartment in the back of the head here, and all the little parasites are in there.
Oh,
in the movie there were the little, which is crazy to me that they included the parasites.
I feel like that toy was like ahead of its time, between like the interchangeable heads and all the really like very small detailed accessories and stuff, and even like the box that's a diorama. Like, I mean, it seems like they did everything. Look at that. That's
how big the parasites are. You could just swallow them all if you wanted. Yeah, dude, it's super articulated. This was also, I was talking about this on Toy Anxiety a little bit last night. This was your best look at Clover when the movie came out, because, Clover's pretty obstructed in the film. You don't see him very well. I remember when this toy came out. I remember when Cloverfield came out, after I saw the movie, I was like frantically looking on the internet for pictures so I could I just wanted to see it.
Yeah.
And I was like looking for screen grabs. I was like trying to find artwork, and there was like concept art going around that didn't quite look the same. But then this toy came out, and I was like, oh, okay, that's what this looks like. But let me put the box down and just get the figure out here.
That's such a cool, I mean, it is like, it's an imposing figure, like even when you held it back there in the box. I mean, that is
it's big, and it's all articulated. The fingers are articulated. The arms, move up. The head moves. If you press in the tongue.
Oh, awesome.
You get a roar. There's also a button on its back that also does a roar. The little tubey things that suck up people, like they tuck in, like when they're not in use, they can like tuck into the body. Everything's articulated. The tail has like a wire in it. The head pops off. You can put the nice the calm head on. This has been on my grail list forever. I like Clover. I know some people don't like Cloverfield, and it's not the best movie in the world, but I love Cloverfield. I like it. I like that it was like J.J. Abrams really loved Godzilla movies and wanted to make, an American equivalent. And I am tired of Americans making monsters look like this.
Yeah.
Cloverfield was kind of the first one.
He gets a pass. Yeah.
Cloverfield gets a pass, but like whenever Godzilla came out and the Mutos, I was like, hey, why do they look like that? There's a monster in one of the Star Trek movies that has this is a thing that was popular for a while.
Yeah.
And I think it's because just as boring white Americans maybe we're unoriginal and we don't know what we're doing sometimes. But I love this figure. He's weird. I've always been into Cloverfield. It's very rare. You don't find these that much. Jay, I was looking on eBay, and one of these sold days ago.
Yeah.
I think on the 26th. One of these sold days ago. Now, the only difference between the one that sold and mine is it still had the shipper box. So it had the cardboard box, and it sold for $2,500. That's a little ridiculous. I didn't pay anywhere. I paid a lot, but I didn't pay anywhere near that.
That is an expensive shipper box.
That is a lot for a cardboard box. I've just wanted this thing forever. I love it, and he's gonna go in my Kaiju collection with my other figures. I picked him up. I did it, Jay. I did it.
That's a statement piece. That is,
I got him.
That is a signature piece. That is awesome, dude. And congrats, because I know when you get something up in that level, it's a pretty cool thing, you know. And that's really awesome that you're able to find it. Also, cool that you were able to find it with friends in a cool place on a fun trip and for a good price.
So what's crazy is like I follow that store on Instagram. And they posted the Cloverfield. Actually, somebody tagged me in it. A listener, a YHS listener, tagged me, and they were like, "Hey, aren't you looking for this?" And I didn't realize that the store was a store that I'd been to before.
Yeah,
and already had plans. You know, we went out of town to Martha's Vineyard, and we drove. So we were like, "Oh, we got to stop at that store." So I knew we were going there, and then I was like looking back through my mentions on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, that Cloverfield monster is at House of Fun. I'm gonna be there in like a month, you know. So I was like, well, maybe it will still be there. But also, the photo they posted on Instagram did not look like it was a complete figure. Like it didn't have everything, and I'm like, oh, well, if it was complete, wouldn't they post all of it?
Yeah.
So part of me was like, if it's not complete, I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
It's too expensive and it's too rare for me to buy it and then be missing part
together.
of it.
Yeah.
And you're not going to find the pieces. But the guy was like, yeah, it's complete. It was like up on a thing and they brought it down. And then we had a little bit of a panic because we couldn't find the parasites. I was like, well, he was like, yeah, it's all here. And I'm like, well, where are the parasites at? And he was like, and he starts looking and parts of the box open up and they're not in there. I'm getting stressed out because I'm like, well, I'm not buying this thing if it doesn't have the tiny little parasites with it. And then like we moved everything and it's like you could hear them.
Yeah.
I'm like, I hear them moving. They're in here. We could
like a horror movie.
We could not find them. And then we bust out the instruction booklet and then it's like, oh yeah, there's a compartment in the back of the head. And this is the head that was on the body. So we were like, oh, they're in the monster somewhere, you know? And it's just so weird that it's a little, but yeah, dude, I got it. I'm so happy with it. That's my job this weekend is to do some work in this room on the kaiju side, and I still got like all this shit that I picked up. It's Star Wars Celebration, just on my floor over here, and then over here there's a box of fucking what is this? Mezco Godzilla, all those little figures I bought from Atomic Monsters in New York. I'm just like, or California, wherever the fuck I was at. I got some work to do, man.
Hey, but that's fun though. It's rearranging to make room for a grail piece and other really cool stuff. So
yeah, dude,
amazing. Well, congrats again, dude. I know that's a
thank you. A
notch to put in the proverbial bedpost. I guess,
listen, I'm sorry to everybody who's just tuning in so they can watch the kaiju fight. You got to listen to me talk about Cloverfield, but
yeah,
that's what you get. That's what you get over here.
Well, you know what, dude? If you're good, we can just go right to
Let's do it, man. I'm a little. I don't think I'm super clear on all these rules, but we're just gonna do it. We'll figure it out together. And if you got to edit, you got to edit, and we're gonna it's gonna be fun. I just want to see. I want to let these people do the work. I want to watch these videos. I've been very excited. Honestly, I've been very excited about this. I think it's just I just think it's fun.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's get right down to it and do a little Showa-Down Spectacular. 32 monsters, but only one will be crowned the Showa era's king of kaiju combat. Join our hosts and over a dozen kaiju experts for YHS on Monster Island's Showa-Down Spectacular. So here's the basic premise, and I will let everybody know kind of the background and everything and the rules, and we'll just go right to it. It's going to be so fun. And I know Jake mentioned it at the top of the show, but just again, to all of the kaiju experts that helped us out, thank you so much. I mean, if it was just Jake and I doing this, it wouldn't be as fun and it wouldn't be as cool. Yeah. And it would show how awesome the kaiju community is, especially if you're new to it and you're like, I know you guys, but I don't know anybody else. Well, you're about to, be
this is kaiju speed dating.
Yeah, it really is. About another 15 or 16 other folks to go check out their channels and their Instagram pages and their websites and all that good stuff. So essentially what this is we took 32 of the biggest, baddest, roughest, toughest kaiju from the Showa era, and we're going to put them in a tournament, and we are going to see who would win in these hypothetical battles and crown a Showa era king of kaiju combat. and the winner of the Showa-Down Spectacular. And it's that easy. But first, I'll start off with how I picked these monsters, these kaiju, and these matchups. Because, hey, guess what? There's a lot more than 32 kaiju in the Showa era. The draw. So a random draw was held to determine both the 32 kaiju and the individual matchups. The only requirements were it had to be Showa era and it had to be from a Japanese production. So, unfortunately, for you, I know, no Yongari, no Gorgo, and some other ones like that missed it. And then the Showa era and Japanese, there's still some that missed the cut because there's only 32 spots. So unfortunately, we left off, like I said, luck of the draw, we left off Gilala. There's a lot of ultra kaiju that just didn't make the cut. Pigmon's not in this. And I know you'll be sad. There's no Minya and there's no Kamakuras in this one. But there's also 32 pretty badasses, though.
That's okay, though. They get included in part 2.
100%. We have to save room for next year. And then the rules. So the rules are going to be super simple, Jake. We're going to keep this super simple.
Lay them on me.
In round 1, there's going to be 16 battles. Sure. Every one of those, maybe except for one, has an expert pick. And you're going to get to hear those, and you're going to hear their rationale, and it's really cool. Now, if you agree with them, that's 2 votes, and that monster moves on.
It moves on.
If you disagree and you're like, that expert is an idiot, I will be the tiebreaker. So you only have to hear from me if there's a tiebreaker. So that's crazy. After that, when we get down to our sweet 16, if you will, when we get down to those battles, it's just going to be you picking. So
I'll just pick them, yeah.
You pick. There's the round of 16, the round of 8 quarterfinals, or again, then the semifinals and the finals. Now, the one exception on the round of 16 in the quarterfinals, I get 1 veto every round. So even if you say, hey, no way, this monster would totally win, I get 1 veto. Other than that, I have to shut up and you get to pick. So I can't waste my veto early on. But then the semifinals and finals.
As if we're not going to just agree on them, bro.
There's a few that could be crazy because I'll tell you, with the draw, there's some favorites. Like if we were in Vegas, some betting favorites that are facing each other in the first round.
Damn.
So it's crazy. And then here's the other kicker. In the finals, it has to be unanimous. Me and you both have to agree. And if we just can't come together, you can flip your fucking coin. The famous Jacob Walsh coin.
I don't have it.
Because we are scientific, and that is the best way to do it. So that is it. And with that, we can get on with the tournament and let's do this.
Let's do it.
Okay, so here's the cool thing. You know how I told you in the rules that the expert would be 1 pick and then you would get 1? There's one exception. The first match, we had 3 experts that were so they had a visceral response to this. They're so enthusiastic about this matchup that they had to comment on it.
Okay.
So the first battle is going to have all 3, or is going to have 3 experts decide who's going to win. And that battle is Varan, the unbelievable, against one of the most asshole-ish ultra kaiju around, Red King, in an epic battle. And you know what? I want to start off strong. I want to start with somebody I know that you absolutely adore her work. She is amazing. And I think she's one of the best kaiju artists around. And that is the great Lisa Nafziger.
Hey friends, it's your old pal Lisa Nafziger, kaiju artist, neighborhood menace, coming at you in a vertical video of all things. But I wanted to weigh in on this duel. So Red King is definitely a Chad. The energy that he is giving right now with his arms, his guns, his corncob exterior is very powerful. He's honestly probably already stolen your girlfriend, but we love an underdog story, so hold on a minute. Okay, get this. Our friend here is literally called the Unbelievable, but what you can believe is that he would rise to the occasion to defeat Red King. He'd open his little flying squirrel arms, his stretchy armpits. Is he a sugar glider or a lizard? We don't know. We just know that he's a winner. He has my vote.
So that's Lisa's pick. So we got 1 vote for Varan.
1 for Varan. All right.
Here we go. From a little bit kind of closer to your realm in your Ghostbusters. I know this guy, he's a toy maker. He's big on Instagram, and he knows a lot about kaiju, and he's created one of his most recent toys that he created was the dirt farmer from Ghostbusters Afterlife in spirit form. So here, all the way from Wisconsin, is the Plastic Geek.
Hi, my name is Jason Miller. You can find me on plasticgeek.com or Instagram /theplasticgeek and Patreon Plastic Geek. I make bootleg and original action figures like my Cybonauts line. Mostly stuff based on Kenner aesthetic. I'm doing some Masters of the Universe type figures now. And I also work on replica props from movies and TV shows. And I've been making stuff for about 25 years. But only recently, in the last 10 years or so, got into making toys more. As you can see, I'm also a collector. I collect Star Wars, modern Transformers, vintage stuff too, like Ninja Turtles, Jurassic Park, Power Rangers, all over the place. But as to the question of who would win in a fight of Varan versus Red King, Varan can fly, but can also be destroyed by swallowing a bomb. Red King has been blown up countless times, and keeps coming back and fighting Ultraman countless times. So, pretty obvious to me that Red King has got this.
Okay, one and one.
1 and 1. So each
This
one
is stressful.
So for the tiebreaker, you know what? We had to go big for a tiebreaker.
Oh shit!
We had to go to a guy that truly, I don't know if a lot of us would be here in the kaiju podcasting realm without him, because he ran the longest running kaiju-related kaiju genre podcast for over a decade. He also wrote, produced, directed the great documentary Hail to the King, 60 Years of Destruction. And he also is the host. I think he's the mastermind behind the great show that we both love, Collect All Monsters.
Mhm.
Yeah, we got to make an ultimate decision on Red King against Varan. We got the great Kyle Yount.
Greetings from the Kaiju Cast controller and one of many hosts of Collect All Monsters. I'm Kyle, and I'm happy and honored to report on this match featuring one of my favorite kaiju, but I promise it won't sway my predictions of the stupendous battle of the strange beasts. In the far eastern corner, discovered by modern science in 1958 near the Kitakami River in Japan's Tohoku Prefecture, the Triphibian kaiju god, Varan! Now, the history of Baradagi's avatar is unknown, as it was passed down via oral tradition and was lost along with the priest of Iwaya village during the monster's first recorded attack. What we do know about this monster is that it sports a nearly impenetrable armor hide, razor-sharp claws, and a row of very pointy spikes that continues from the top of his head down to the tip of its long whip-like tail. Additionally, Varan has been known to launch itself into the air and glide away from its attackers with membranes connecting its fore and hind legs, similar to a terrifying flying squirrel. And like many creatures in nature, Varan's vulnerability is a soft underbelly, especially in the crotchular region. Ouch. But who will take on this Toho-saur? Discovered in Tatarajima Island in 1966 during what has come to be known as the Lawless Monster Zone incident, Red King was one of several kaiju, which ultimately destroyed all but one of the crew sent to the observation station after a volcanic eruption and earthquake reshaped the island, unleashing this torrent of titans. Battling for supremacy, the monsters made short work of the humans and each other, with Red King coming out on top, maiming Chandlar and killing poor little Pigmon. Covered in segmented armor plates and sporting oversized hands, yes, each with 4 fingers and a thumb, Red King is not afraid to use tools, like giant boulders, to its advantage during a battle. And while it bleeds as red as any other Ultra Kaiju, Red King's upright posture and his impossible quickness make him formidable against almost any Kaiju opponent. Even the Science Patrol had a hell of a time fending off this fiend. Now, as much as I hate to admit it, Varan is slow-moving, but quick to escape when he feels overwhelmed. While the sharpness of his claws, teeth, and spikes could deal some unbelievable damage, I think Red King's ferocity alone is bad news for Varan. And unless he can escape Red King's Goro grip, it could be the end, ? For this ancient being. But how far will Red King take the fight? You know, it's rumored that Red King has a flair for the theatrical. Historians say Red King got its start in children's theater, of all places. Perhaps that's where they learned to hone that mean streak, because this beast is a bit of a bastard. Actually, that reminds me, let me go ahead and do my part as a kaiju conservationalist. Calling Monsterland. Calling Monsterland. Oh, yes. Hello, Kyoko. She's been working there ever since the Keelak invasion of 1999. Yeah, I'm calling to let you know you should get a kaiju-sized Bacta-tank available for Varan's arrival. I'm afraid he's going to need a lot of physical therapy after this match. Well, guys, thanks so much for having me be part of the Showa-Down Spectacular. Back to you.
Whew.
There you go. Red King. Red King knocks out Varan in our very first battle in the Showa-Down Spectacular. Now, the rest of them, we're going to have to hear from you, Jake, but...
That's okay. That was a hard one. All three of these guys are right on. And you know what? That's a hard one because, yeah, Red King, it's like part of me, would say, yeah, of course Red King is going to... He's a fucking jerk, dude. Of course he's going to... Of course he beats Varan. But I want to, like, the goodness in me wants to side with Lisa and, he's the good, Varan's the good guy.
Yeah.
I want to see Varan, be the underdog and come on top. So I'm glad that they had to do that and not me.
Well, the next matchup you're going to love because this is a wacky one. And once again, pitting two different studios together. And I love our guest picker here because he's one of our favorites, and we've mentioned him a lot on the show. So how about this one? Mechani Kong.
Ooh.
Yes, Mechani Kong against that metallic shark monster guy, Zigra from Camera. I know. So how about that battle? Oh, and you know what? How about this? We talked about Lisa. How about a little kaiju art royalty and the madman from Mondo, Tom Whalen. So let's get Tom as he tells us who he thinks would win between Mechani Kong and Zigra.
Okay.
Hey, YHS on Monster Island. My name is Tom Whalen. I'm an illustrator, designer, and huge kaiju fan. You may have seen some of my silkscreen posters through Mondo, where I'm working my way through the Showa and Heisei era of Toho films. Or you may have seen some of my packaging design for Hasbro on the Power Rangers Lightning Collection or G.I. Joe classified lines. At any rate, I just want to thank Jay and Jake for inviting me to be part of this insane challenge where these two monsters will be facing off today. Mechani Kong and Zigra. So in the interest of full transparency, my tokusatsu fandom is clearly defined as Toho, Tsuburaya, and Daiei. So in order to level the playing field a little bit, I came up with a very well researched, airtight, never fail series of 5 questions that when applied to these monsters should give us a clear winner. That's beyond question. So first question, if you needed to strip mine enough element X to take over the entire planet, which monster would you rather have? Obviously, Mechani Kong. If you were about to go on stage at your elementary school xylophone concert and you show up and all the xylophones are missing, who would you rather have? If you were a contestant on the 1980s game show, Win, Lose, or Draw, and you were tasked with drawing a pile of broken scissors, which monster would you rather have by your side for reference? If you needed to blind a giant ape climbing up Tokyo Tower, who would you rather have by your side? And finally, if you were an intern at Discovery Channel, it was 4:30 on a Friday afternoon, and your bosses tasked you with programming the last 10 minutes of Shark Week, who would be more beneficial to have by your side? And by my count, by my airtight series of questions, by a 3-2 margin in a stunning upset, Zigra pulls off the win. Thanks, Jay and Jake. Thanks, Monster Island.
Well, there you go. I mean, first off, that had me cracking up when I was watching it and putting it on there. Like,
Same.
was awesome. That was so good. And those, I mean, we need to like get a hold of those drawings. Holy cow.
Yeah, I want those.
But yeah, you know, it's an interesting matchup. And so, Jake, as the ultimate decider here, you know, I just thought we may thought some superlatives here. You know, it's an upset maybe, but Zigra, he's 80 meters tall. Mechani-Kong only comes in about 20 meters. So Zigra's way bigger. Yes, Mechani-Kong has his grenades and everything, but Zigra also has his beam attacks. So like, I think from a long range, there's some, both of them can do some damage, but it's an interesting one. So Jake, I'm going to throw it to you. Do you agree with the great Tom Whalen, or do we have to go to a tiebreaker?
Oh, man, you know what it is like, it's hard whenever there's that much of a size difference. It's clearly Zigra, but it's like for the purposes of something like this, I would say we forget the size difference, and you have to come at this as if they were the same size. Is that a rule I just made up? Is that
it's a rule
like,
you just made up? Yeah,
I just made that up. God, Jay, this is hard because my gut wants to say it's Mechani-Kong. My gut says Mechani-Kong is better, is stronger, is more mobile, has more of a thought. They're both like sort of weird robotic. Like Mechani-Kong has more going on for him. I think. I think he comes out on top of this.
Wow, going against Mr. Whalen.
I'm going against Whalen.
So I get to be the tiebreaker.
You're the tiebreaker, man.
I am the tiebreaker. I do keep size in there, and I do think Mechani-Kong is made of metal, and Zigra's sharp razor fins and everything, slice and dice metal, and he can fly. I think from the fourth planet of the number 105 system, I think Zigra.
Think so.
I think he takes out Mechani-Kong and advances.
Fine.
So I'm going with Zigra.
Listen, if you want to be realistic about it, then sure, 80 meters trumps 20. I just love Mechani-Kong. You guys are right. I'll let you have it.
Well, here's the thing. Next year we'll do which is the cooler kaiju. Now this is who would win in battle.
It's hard. You're right, dude.
It's hard to separate that.
Hey, you know what? From here on out, I let my heart get in. I let my heart get in front of my pick, and I want to say I'm sorry to Tom, and I'm sorry to everybody who's watching. That was wrong of me. I know I've grown as a human being, and I will not make up rules anymore. Please. I agree with you guys. You're good. Let's go to the next one.
Yeah, the next one is awesome. I think you'll love this one because anybody that's a fan of sharp objects will like this one because we're going to get some slicing and dicing.
Oh,
yeah, we get this is a good one.
Who is this?
When we drew this one, it was one that I was like, I want to see this on film right away. And so we're going to see from 1969's Gamera versus Gyron, the knife man himself, Gyron, against the man celebrating his 50th anniversary this year. Yes, from the M Space Hunter Nebula, Gigan. And like I said, this matchup is sponsored by Ginsu. We got a really cool guest here. He's a editor. He's a video creator. He is a contributor on Collect All Monsters with his Turntable Tuesdays and his Face the Kaiju music. He's a music connoisseur. He's one of the smartest dudes I know when it comes to kaiju and an awesome collector. We got Mr. Jonathan Portman, and so check this out.
What's up, everybody, and thank you to Jay and Jake for inviting me on to give my take on a certain kaiju battle, Gigan and Giron. Gigan was always a favorite of mine when I was a kid, and still is to this day. Let's get into it. Now, Gigan presented a very tough test for Godzilla. He was one of the only kaiju that ever made Godzilla bleed. It scarred my 9-year-old brain when I first saw it. One thing that really sticks out with Gigan are the hammer claws, those vicious hammer claws that he uses to slice and dice and jab at enemies. He's also got the famous buzzsaw located in the chest abdominal region. Really devastating attack, very good defensive move. And you know, the thing about Gigan is he's very agile. You know, he can fly at Mach speeds, super fast, very agile, and very scrappy too. You know, he's not afraid to get up in there and get in the fight. I'm not going to go into the whole head beam thing because it was never used in the movie, so I'm not going to go into that. And then we have Giran. Giran has the huge knife head, almost as big as his body. And then we have his shurikens that he could shoot out of his head as well. But the thing about Giran that's interesting is that while he's slow, he can hit you with a precision strike. We saw him leap to incredible heights to take out Space Gaius and finish him off, slicing and dicing. Now, Giran can also deflect beams from his knife head. We saw that against Space Gaius as well. So all in all, if they were into an actual battle together, based on their attributes and what they have to deliver, I think Gigan comes out on top in this one. Gigan can fly, he can zip around, he has a little more mobility, he has a little bit more size. I think he can just get around Giran and take it to him. Giran may be able to get a couple good strikes in. You know, the shurikens will definitely annoy Gigan. They're a little too slow. And maybe I'm just more partial to Gigan because I, love him so much. Both are really cool. Both present a really cool challenge. And that's it. Thank you for listening to me rant. Have fun and enjoy the rest of the show.
There you go, Mr. Jonathan Portman, everybody. Really cool analysis there. I love the thought process. So, Jake, who do you have? The knife-headed kaiju from the mysterious 10th planet, or do you go with our boy Gigan from Godzilla versus Gigan?
Dude, I think, listen, it would be a fun film. Blade versus Blade, sure. This is a no-brainer. It's Gigan. He's 100% right. I do think, Gigan he's got the speed, the mobility. He's cooler. He's got more weapons. He can deflect the fucking shurikens. He's just all around. Gigan is better. He's a badass, and he wins.
Okay, so he advances. So Gigan goes on, and so he will get the winner of this next matchup. Now, this is a really cool one because it's two kaiju that I think inherently are good. Well, one is definitely good, a defender. Okay. The other one is somewhere in between and becomes really good later on. But how about this? 1965's, the original Gamera against, against from Okinawa, King Caesar.
Oh,
and here's the cool thing, Nick. I know you don't drink alcoholic beverages. You drink liquids, but
I do drink water. Or I'll die. Yeah.
So, and that's totally cool. But for those of us that do, and like kaiju and like mixing drinks, there's a YouTube channel out there that if you're not watching it, you're missing out. And that is Thirsty Thursday Toys. And Adam was kind enough to help us out to pick a winner between Gamera and King Caesar. So take it away, Thirsty Thursday Toys.
Hello, it's Adam, the Thirsty Thursday Toys guy. You can check out my kaiju cocktails and toy reviews every Thursday on my channel, but I'm not here to make a cocktail. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna drink something. But I'm here to talk about a theoretical battle between Guardians, Toho versus Daiei, in the clash between Gamera 1965 and King Caesar, whose name I've heard pronounced in half a dozen different ways. I've heard Caesar, I've heard my favorite salad. In the dub I just watched, someone said seesaw. Seesaw. Now, despite my love for Gamera, who was my introduction to kaiju, I wanted to look at this battle objectively. So I rewatched both films and came to the objective conclusion that King Caesar would lose. So grab a drink and hear me out. Now, before Gamera became the guardian of the universe and friend to all children, he was more of a chaotic neutral. I mean, he did save a kid, but he also, rampaged through Japan. King Caesar, on the other hand, was always a guardian, so I could see these two clashing with King Caesar on the defense. Both kaiju have shown an ability to be buried for extended periods of time. Gamera in ice and the king in a mountain. Gamera can be blasted awake and get right to his rampage. The guardian of the Izumis, on the other hand, needs a specific idol to be brought to a specific temple, and then a descendant of the Izumi royal family needs to sing a special prayer, and Gamera could have leveled Okinawa before King Caesar even opens his eyes. According to the human characters in the movies and a couple different Godzilla wiki sites, both kaiju are roughly the same size. King Caesar is the only one that we see battling other kaiju, and is proven to be fast and strong. I mean, it took Mechagodzilla to the ground. I'm sure he could also take Gamera to the ground, but Gamera has proven that even if he lands on his back, he can spin himself right back up thanks to his flying abilities. King Caesar doesn't have any beam weapons or anything, but he can reflect beam weapons from other kaiju. Now, I imagine this only works on beams and lasers and not fire. Gamera does have that flamethrower breath and can reduce an entire metal ship to ashes. King Caesar is covered in fur. You do the math. No, I know, King Caesar does have some tough, thick skin, but so does Gamera. And also a shell. And we know that his reptilian skin is impervious to cannon fire and missiles. We don't know how King Shiza responds to fire breath, but we do know that he responds to missiles by hiding behind a mountain, and then hiding behind Godzilla. And he only rejoined the battle once Mechagodzilla was subdued. Yes, Gamera also hid inside of his shell, but that seemed to be more from embarrassment than anything else. Refill. Gamera can be slowed a bit by freezing weapons, which King Shiza does not have. And Gamera can easily be lured into a trap, and I honestly don't know if King Shiza has the intelligence to create one. So if King Shiza can create a trap that'll prevent Gamera from consuming energy and then lure Gamera into said trap, then the king could survive at best. Otherwise, the Cowardly Lion is up against a foe so indestructible, so unstoppable, that the best course of action was to ship him off to Mars. And I haven't even mentioned how Gamera can literally eat fire. So if you don't hate me after this analysis, come check out some Kaiju cocktails at Thirsty Thursday Toys. Or you know what? Come on over, tell me how absolutely wrong I am. Either way, please drink responsibly. Cheers.
Well, there you go. Thirsty Thursday has laid down the gauntlet and said Gamera 1965 would take out the Guardian of Okinawa. What say you? And first off, that was hilarious. But the second of all, what say you?
That was great. And listen, if everybody's analysis is like that, then I have zero work to do because he's 100% correct. It's Gamera. There's nothing else. He hit every single point.
You will find out that. You'll find that out a lot in these first rounds.
Good.
And the other thing is,
my job's easy. Gamera wins.
And in the second round, we're going to get Gamera and Gigan. Well, that's going to be a fun one. I know. You get no help on that one. Oh, so when I was doing these, there were a few matchups that were like almost too good that it couldn't have been random, right? Like, and you'll see them where it's like, how did these get paired together? They're either too similar, there's something connected with them. This is one of those. The battle of the two Sauruses. We got Gorosaurus and Titanosaurus in the battle of dinosaurs, but we'll give you some help. And to do that, we'll go to that amazing, wonderful, beloved YouTube show, Collect All Monsters, and they're just the brilliant queen of Safubi herself, Christine, and she's going to help us out and give you a little bit of maybe some guidance on Gorosaurus against Titanosaurus.
Hey, what's up everybody? Thank you so much for inviting me onto your show for this awesome Showa-Down Spectacular. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Christine. I am one of the co-hosts on the Collect All Monsters YouTube channel, where we talk about everything Kaiju collectible related, aka toys. We love us some toys. So for my Showa-Down Spectacular team up, I got Gorosaurus. I know this is the only Gorosaurus I have, I'm terrible. Versus Titanosaurus. The two Sauruses going head to head. So we've got the King of Kangaroo Kicks versus the Titan of Tornado Tail Whips. Who would win in a versus battle? So this one was a little tricky for me. They both have some great abilities, also some very similar abilities, but let's just go over these guys for a minute here. So Gorosaurus, he stands at about 35 meters tall, weighing in at 8,800 tons. He's got very strong legs. His like signature kangaroo kick. The arms don't really help him out so much. He's got the little T-Rex arms, but also a very strong bite. So he's got strong jaw, strong legs. He's pretty quick and agile since he's a little bit smaller and lighter. Titanosaurus, on the other hand, is coming in at 60 meters tall, weighing at 30,000 tons. So right off the bat, he's already got poor Gorosaurus beat in terms of height and weight, and he's also pretty nimble. He also has a very strong jaw, strong legs. He does have some grappling arms. He's a grappler. And then his tail, which he can whip up some crazy tornado winds. So these two against each other. They both have strong legs. I mean, we've seen Titanosaurus kick Godzilla clear over some hills in Terror of Mechagodzilla, but then Gorosaurus also has very strong kicks as well. I mean, he gave King Kong a run for his money, and he was able to knock King Ghidorah over and destroy all monsters. Their bites. Gorosaurus does have a very strong jaw that we've seen in King Kong Escapes. Titanosaurus also has a very strong jaw, as he was able to pick Godzilla up and fling him around like he was a toy. And then Titanosaurus's tail whip, he is able to whip up some crazy strong winds and knock Godzilla over. So unfortunately, poor Gorosaurus, I don't really think, I mean, I think he'd put up a good fight for sure. He's fast, agile, you know, super strong legs, but I don't think he would come out on top in this battle. I think Titanosaurus is going to have him beat in terms of height, weight, and abilities. If he's able to knock Gorosaurus over, I think he'll have a little bit of trouble. And then they both like to kick, as we've seen. So I would say that I do think Gorosaurus probably has the stronger kick. But Titanosaurus, once he gets up in your face, he's a pretty good grappler. So I think he'll be able to wrangle Gorosaurus around and come up on top. So the winner for this round for me, I'm going with Titanosaurus. Thanks, guys.
Well, there you go. Christine gave you a lot of, that's a deep analysis of the Battle of the Sauruses. So thank you, Christine. Did that help you? Because this is, to me, like, this would have been a hard one if you just said these right out of the gate, like who would win in this fight. I'm like, I don't know. So what about you, Jake? What do you think? Were you swayed by Christine?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's hard to pay attention to anybody when they all have toys behind them. I'm just like, what do they got? What does she got back there?
And her collection is ridiculous.
It is, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
But here's the thing. I think she made the right choice because I think Gorosaurus is. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and I love all kaiju. Listen, I love all kaiju, but if you're lining them up, Gorosaurus is the most useless. He's one of the most useless. Like, there's a couple other down there with him, but he's just, you know. She mentioned he knocks over King Ghidorah, and it's like, yeah, well, he knocks over King Ghidorah because he's got 7 teammates helping him, while he's never had to go against Godzilla before. And Titanosaurus is over here fucking holding his own between Godzilla and Mechagodzilla. Yeah. Titanosaurus wins.
Yeah, hard to argue. I think that both that's great. So Titanosaurus moves on, but who will he fight in the next round? How about this matchup? Now, this is a cool matchup, and I'm excited that I was able to pair this with the expert because I think we found the right expert for this matchup. You can just tell how giddy he is, and he loves it, and he just takes us on a history lesson. So how about this? You knew he's going to happen sometime or other. 1954, Shodai Goji, the original Godzilla from Odo Island, against, from a film we just reviewed on YHS and Monster Island a few weeks back, Toho's version of Frankenstein from Frankenstein Conquers the World. And to talk about it, one of my favorite folks, I call him the ambassador of the kaiju community because I think everybody knows him and loves him, and he is just a historian about all things kaiju, and also from Collect All Monsters. So his pick could go up against colleague Christine's pick.
Oh, wow.
The great David Dopko.
Hey there, David Dopko here. I'm a kaiju toy collector, model builder, photographer, one of the co-hosts of the awesome YouTube show Collect All Monsters, which airs monthly on our YouTube channel. But most importantly, I'm a longtime member of this crazy cool fandom. So first of all, I want to thank Jay and Jake from YHS on Monster Island for giving me this opportunity to participate in this awesome Showa-Down Spectacular. I guess we should just jump right into it and get started. So my monsters that were assigned to me for my showdown were the 1954 Shodai Godzilla, represented here by the X Plus 28 centimeter figure sculpted by Yuji Sakai. And my second monster is Toho's Frankenstein, represented here by the Bandai Premium figure. So I'm very, very excited that I got these two particular monsters because I love the films that they're in. They're very high up on my list. Some of my favorites in the whole genre, I might say. Both of these films have a more serious, somber, dark tone and deal directly with man's misuse of atomic weapons and the fallout, no pun intended, that ensues because of this misuse and the horrors that are spawned from it. Both of these films were essentially created by the same Toho Dream Team Ishiro Honda, Iji Tsuburaya, and Akira Ifukube. And a little bit of trivia, one character actor that was featured in both movies is the great Takashi Shimura, who plays Dr. Yamane, and also the old army doctor who was beginning to examine Frankenstein's heart when they dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. So without further ado, let's just get right into my battle. So initially there was a problem of scale. Frankenstein is a lot smaller than Godzilla, but my scenario sort of fixes that. As we know, Frankenstein was created by radioactivity, and he's immune to radiation. So Godzilla emits a lot of radioactivity from his body, and of course from his atomic breath. So I think being in close proximity to Godzilla would make Frankenstein grow to the size that would be appropriate to battle Godzilla, so it would be more of an even match. More kind of like this in scale. Pilot Ace, Shodai Godzilla, M1 Frankenstein. Two great Sofubi figures. So this is the scale that I'm thinking of for the actual battle I have in mind. So people would say Godzilla would definitely be the victor. I'm not too sure. Frankenstein is a humanoid, sort of has a human brain, and he would be more cunning and faster than the Shodai Godzilla, which isn't quite as fast. He wouldn't be quite as fast as some of the later incarnations of Godzilla, because remember, he's just been released from hibernation from an atomic bomb, and he's angry, disoriented, radiation scarred, and just this mutated dinosaur that's a force of nature, unstoppable, essentially, impervious to being killed, you know, except for the oxygen destroyer, which I'm going to remove from this scenario right off the bat. So this indestructible force of nature versus this immortal creature spawned by radiation. It's a pretty cool battle. It would be a great battle. Much like Frankenstein versus Baragon, Frankenstein would be all over Godzilla, you know, holding him by the tail, keeping his mouth closed, and being careful to stay away from, you know, Godzilla's mouth. And he probably wouldn't want a direct hit of the atomic breath. But I think the battle would rage on from countryside to city, and then eventually end up in Tokyo Bay, where they're battling it out. And I think ultimately Godzilla would get a hold of Frankenstein and kind of tear him limb from limb. But this would not be the end of the battle. The battle would continue at a later date, because as we know, the heart and the limbs and the cells all remain animated of the Frankenstein monster. And what would happen is all of these cells and things in Tokyo Bay would grow into separate creatures, Gyra-like monsters. And they wouldn't be friendly like Sanda. They would all be malevolent like Gyra, and they'd all converge and attack Godzilla for their revenge. So that would be like part 2 of my battle. And so part 1, Godzilla would be victorious. Part 2, not quite sure how that one would turn out. I'm gonna leave that to you guys, because imagine Godzilla fighting 3 or 4 Gyras. That would be really cool and very, very vicious. So that's it. That's what I got. A little tiny bit of trivia, Toho trivia. The studio wanted to use Frankenstein in a film, and their first idea after King Kong versus Godzilla was Frankenstein versus the human vapor. I know that sounds really bizarre, but it kind of would have been cool. But they decided to scrap that, and then they said, hey, let's just do Frankenstein versus Godzilla. And there was sort of a story that was proposed, and it was kind of similar to Frankenstein versus Baragon, whereas a strange boy was found wandering around the ruins of Hiroshima and begins to grow at an alarming rate, eating pets, small animals, and livestock. And the humans, the authorities, were worried that he was going to start eating people. So their brilliant solution was to release the recently discovered Godzilla trapped in yet another iceberg, release him from the iceberg so he can do battle with Frankenstein before he starts eating people. So in essence, Godzilla would supposedly be the hero of this particular story, and Frankenstein would be the villain. So interesting. We know that never happened. Godzilla went on to battle Mothra, and Frankenstein went on to battle his own dinosaurian subterranean monster, as we know. It's Paragon. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got. And thanks again for letting me participate. I can't wait to see what everyone else does for their matchups and their showdowns. Just remember to check out Collect All Monsters on our YouTube channel, and check out our really cool Facebook group, Collect All Monsters, Monster Collectors. If you get a chance, and when you get a chance, you won't regret it. So this is David signing off. Cheers.
So there you go, Jake. David, I mean, not only does he make a pick, he also gives us another battle. And then obviously the trivia and the knowledge, we know he always can drop those on anybody. But like now all I can think about is I want to see Godzilla against 3 evil Gyra. I mean, I want that movie now.
Me too.
So to strip that down, his official pick for battle 1, which is this battle, Godzilla 54, ekes out a victory, a surprisingly close victory maybe to some, over Toho's Frankenstein. What say you?
Yeah, so first of all, so much respect to Dave. I love that.
Awesome. Yeah,
those
so
pitches.
Awesome.
Whenever he went into his second part, I was just like, whoa, wait. I do want to see this. I agree with him across the board. I do think Godzilla is victorious against Frankenstein, even though Frankenstein is maybe a little more limber and can run around and be a little bit quicker, and it's the original Godzilla. Godzilla's still a big, scary, savage animal with claws, a tail, teeth, a bite, and an atomic breath. So I do think, since it's a technicality of the battle is Godzilla versus Frankenstein and not Godzilla versus a whole bunch of gargantuas, I'm going to agree with his first half and say Godzilla wins this.
I love it. And you know what? The one part that got me, that just shows like, you know, David knows his stuff so well, like was thinking at it even well beyond what I think we do. The fact that he's like, he was able to get the size matchup better by thinking, oh yeah, he's going to be close to Godzilla. Godzilla emits radiation. That obviously causes Frankenstein to grow.
He fixed it.
I'm like, holy cow. I would have never thought about that in a million years.
Yeah,
and he's like,
I loved every bit of that. And I wish
awesome.
I wish I had some popcorn and just, I love that he just fleshed it out. That was great. I can't believe we got people to do this. And I'm David, thank you for that. It was great.
Well, we got some more. So this is what I know you're going to like. It's going to be a battle of bugs. So we have your favorite, the secret weapon of Seatopia, Megalon. And he goes up against, from Soljel Island, some people just call him a big spider. Some people call him Spiga. Some people call him Spiga. And some people call him Kumanga. But it's Kumanga today. So we get Megalon versus Kumanga. And to do this, our expert, we got a YouTuber that has a gigantic following. He not only talks kaiju, he talks Transformers. He talks, which I know is a personal favorite of yours, Ghostbusters. He talks everything. He's one of the coolest cats. I know he is active on the YHS communities as well. He's in there just sharing his insight. I love the guy. He's awesome and a great collector. He has an awesome collection across the board. And that's the YouTuber himself, Pokehan.
Hey Kaiju fans, my name is Pokehan. For those of you that don't know me, I am a content creator here on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Within my platforms, I talk about the many fandoms that I love and enjoy, including the Big Man. I got the 54 poster and Skeleton Godzilla joining us today because we're talking about the Showa era, and not just the Showa era, but the Showa Showdown Spectacular. So first off, want to thank Yes Have Some, Monster Island for including me to pitting two kaijus together, battling them out, and finding the definitive winner. And I think I have. So I was given the two bugs. So on one side, we have Kumonga, a giant spider kaiju, really cool. And then Megalon, a personal favorite of mine. Weirdly enough, I don't have any Megalon stuff. I do want the X Plus and the Movie Monster Series figure, but I just haven't pulled the trigger on either one yet, but I do plan to in the future. But anyways, back to the scenario, as we all love to talk about Godzilla. So for Kumonga, I came up with the scenario where I think Kumonga really comes on top with the element of surprise. So jumping on top of Megalon or having Megalon fall into a web or webbing him and then devouring him. Now, I do think Megalon comes on top with the battle because of his ability to use his drill hands to get out of the web, fly into the air, use his bombs, lightning horn to just destroy Kumonga. And then if he does end up falling on the ground or having to battle it out, as you've seen in Godzilla vs. Megalon, he definitely has that ability to just lay down in the smack. So I think Megalon comes on top, but like I said, Kumonga does have a few scenarios where, that element of surprise could, determine him as a winner in some cases. But I think with more of the scenarios that I've ran through, I think Megalon is the winner. So I want to thank Yes Have Some, Monster Island for including me again, and Pokemon out.
So there you have it. I mean, when he was saying that, I was just envisioning he sitting at this big machine, this big computer, running scenarios and algorithms on every different fight scenario, and Megalon comes out on top. So I think this would actually be a really cool battle too. But I'm curious. I know you love Megalon, but who do you think wins if these big bad bugs battle it out?
Maybe if Megalon's asleep and Kumonga shows up while Megalon's taking a big Seatopian nap, then maybe he's got a chance. Maybe him and Gorosaurus can form a team. So
I'll write you down for Kumonga.
Megalon has so many abilities. He's got so many abilities. Just what he said. He can go under the ground. He can fly. His best friend is Gigan. He's got the rocks.
I thought it was Emperor Antonio.
He has so much shit. Hey, Megalon has too much going for him. I know, even putting aside my personal love of Megalon, and even putting aside the silliness of Megalon, he's a big old goof. He's just got too many abilities, and Kumonga is a big dumb spider that couldn't even defeat Minya. So,
you're
Megalon.
Right. Megalon has a huge arsenal. I mean, we even talked about the napalm spit.
Yeah. What is that? Why does he even have that? I don't know. He's got fucking energy coming out of his horn. Is he a beetle? Is he a cockroach? What? I don't know, but he wins.
Yeah. No.
In fact, we're done. Megalon wins everything.
Hey, there are, especially in the Gamera movies, what I've noticed doing this, the Gamera villains, they have a lot of weapons. But Megalon, he does have a ton of armaments and stuff to do. So, okay, so we're done with that one. The next one is another one of those how did this happen? These two are too similar, and it's an interesting matchup. So we have 1962's Toho version of King Kong. So from King Kong versus Godzilla.
Okay.
Against, he was mentioned earlier by David, from War of the Gargantuas, the evil green water dwelling Gyra. So it's going to be a battle of humanoids. And so when I heard these two, it immediately thought of somebody that absolutely loves both of these monsters. He talks about it all the time. I first discovered him from his awesome Kaiju reviews channel, X Plus reviews channel on YouTube. But then I think more people now know him almost from his role as a host on Collect All Monsters. And that's the great Leslie P. Chambers. So I'm going to throw this video up here and we're going to listen to Leslie.
What's going on, people? Leslie P. Chambers on behalf of Leslie Chambers Kaiju Reviews and on behalf of Collect All Monsters, want to come at you today for this awesome scenario. Yes, this is brought to you in part by the awesome dudes at the YHS on Monster Island podcast, Jay Key and Jacob Walsh. and it wanted me to come up here and talk about what would happen in a dream battle scenario between these two awesome kaiju. Yes, yes, yes. In this corner, we have the awesome god of Faroe Island, yes, the incomparable King Kong from 1962's King Kong versus Godzilla, going up against the evil, bloodthirsty little brother of the brown gargantua, Sander from War of the Gargantuas, of course, the despicable, just evil and heinous Gyra, the green gargantua. And what would happen if these two big monsters would go at it? And this is hard for me because I'm a huge fan of both. You already know that. I'm a huge fan of Kong. I'm a huge fan of Gyra. I don't know what that says about me as a person, but I so love Gyra. I so much am in love with this monster, Gyra. Yes, yes, yes. And right off the bat, as you can tell, they're both humanoid monsters. They're not reptilian where they got to worry about dorsal plates and tails and stuff like that. They don't really have any special powers outside of maybe Kong being able to shoot electricity bolts from his fingertips. But I think on paper, this will be an interesting fight. Now, they do have similarities. Like I said, they're both humanoid, and they both are agile beasts. And they both have strengths and weaknesses. But I think the strength for Kong is, I think between the two, he's the more powerful of the two. There's more brute force and power in Kong versus Gyra. Whereas Gyra, he's probably more agile and has the speed and quickness over Kong. And he also has that killer instinct where he doesn't care, where he's really, really vicious and savage. And that could probably take him up a few notches, in my opinion. But honestly, I see the battle go either way. I really see the battle go either way. I think it comes down to the environment on where the battle would take place. If the battle is on land, I can see Kong becoming victorious because he's more of a land animal than Gyra. Now, if the battle is in the water or in the ocean, I can see Gyra winning because, even though Gyra can survive on land, he's more so an aquatic animal, an underwater animal. So again, it just depends on the environment. So that's what I will say, what would happen if these two monsters go at it. On the land, it would be Kong. In the water, it would be Gyra, but it would still be an interesting fight nonetheless. So I hope I made you proud, Jay Key and Jacob Walsh from the YHS on Monster Island podcast. Why don't you let me know, who do you think will win between the awesome King Kong and the bloodthirsty Gyra? Let me know, and it will be a fun fight. It's a shame it never happened, but with this scenario, we can come up with some imagination and thoughts in our heads on what would happen if these two monsters ever squared off. So I hope you made you proud, Jay Key and Jacob Walsh, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. Again, my name is Leslie P. Chambers on behalf of Les Chambers Kaiju Reviews, as well as Collect All Monsters, and I will see y'all again on next Figure Move Review. All right, folks, y'all take it easy.
And Leslie, we are going to let you know what our thoughts are. So I will say one thing. So I'm gonna step in and I'll throw one thing. This theoretical battle does take place on land. So because of that, I'm going to give Leslie's pick to Kong. So Kong has one vote. So Jake,
okay,
what say you? Do we go to the tiebreaker or does Kong advance?
Now, all right. First of all, I love that. First of all, these are both two. Godzilla versus Kong, I like that movie, but I've never been a big fan of this version of Kong. And the Gargantua movies, I know we talked about them recently, and I love, but I also don't love.
Yeah.
But I think these two together would make a great film. But here's the thing. Like, part of me thinks, it's like you kind of want to lean towards Kong. But the thing about this version of Kong, King Kong is, I feel like, a smart animal in most of the films he's in. Just not this one. This version of King Kong is an idiot. He's not, he might be strong and he might be big and he can fight an octopus and drink berry juice, but he's an idiot, man. And I think the viciousness wins over it.
Okay.
And
So before you make the final call, I thought one thing. I didn't know if this would sway you. Kong 62 is 45 meters tall. Gyra is 25 meters tall. So Kong is about double his height.
Dude,
not quite. I don't
can't.
know if that matters.
I mean, I personally, I have to take the sizes out of these because it's just, to me, it just becomes pointless when you have if we were doing size, then then it's no contest, and to me that kind of takes the fun out of it. So I have to sort of look at these guys as if they're kind of equals. Going with Gyra.
All right, so I'm the tiebreaker here. You know what? I'm going to side with Leslie P. Chambers. I'm going Kong. Once again, I agree. I think if all things being equal, Gyra might take it, but I can't look past the size, and also like I don't know, man. I think Kong, like maybe there's an electrical storm that hits and he has the electricity power.
Sure.
I think he overpowers Gyra.
I think
Kong takes the win.
I think Kong gets drunk on berry juice and he can't perform.
Some Soma berries. Yep.
Yeah.
And Gyra gets full on eating campers and tourists.
The fucking octopus almost took him out, dude. Come on.
Yeah, they both fight octopus.
Yeah.
Okay, so this next one, dude, this is one of those that luck of the draw. Two monsters I think that would be favorites, and they would be at least in that upper tier of guys that could win, or kaiju that could win the tournament. We're going the three-headed space dragon himself, Godzilla's probably number one archenemy, King Ghidorah, against, I hate to say it, but maybe the most powerful monster of the 70s, the sludge slinging Hedorah in Ghidorah, Hedorah, my daughter's two favorite monsters.
Bring her in, dude.
I know, right? She was going to be the backup expert on this one. So she would pick King Ghidorah. I know that. But anyway, let's see who wins. And I got somebody here that I know you like, I know you follow. He is an influencer across the spectrum. We got him all the way from Tokyo. He's an amazing collector. He's an amazing artist and illustrator. He is a YouTube influencer, and he is just, everybody in the kaiju community knows him. Some call him a bastard. I call him the Tokyo toy bastard. And here he is to let us know. And I think maybe the sleeper pick of best video from an expert. Here's the Tokyo toy bastard.
Cool.
It's a compelling argument, and he doesn't need any words. First off, amazing stuff.
More.
Bring
me more.
How awesome is our community, dude? He's so great. Oh my God. Exactly. Like, here's the cool thing. On one end of the spectrum, you have your Davids and your Leslies that are giving us these, these amazing just knowledge bombs. And then you have the Tokyo Toy Bastard, who's given us this piece of just amazing content, artful. It's awesome. And we get everything in between. But if you think about it, this is a huge battle of heavy hitters. Yeah. You have the gravity beams of King Ghidorah against the Hedrium ray and sludge and shape shifting thing of Hedorah. Like, this is one that I'd have to go deep thought on this one. But it might not get to me. So Jake, who do you have in this battle of two of Godzilla's most formidable foes?
The thing about this one is that Hedorah has this scariness to it that, there's something a little more serious and sinister about Hedorah's ways and the power, its abilities and stuff. But dude, it's fucking King Ghidorah. Like, he has again and again and again proven to be the hardest foe to defeat, and he doesn't even have arms. Like, I feel like his lightning beams would kind of do a similar, Godzilla, defeats Hedorah and, uses that shit to kind of tear him apart in the end, the electricity. And I just feel like Hedorah could do that in a higher level. So, I have to, part of me, I wish I was disagreeing more because it's fun to disagree. But all of these people are very smart.
Yeah.
And they know what they're talking about. And I go with King Ghidorah, King Ghidra on this one.
That was a hard one. I really didn't. I'm glad you picked that because I didn't know which way I was going to go on it. Like, part of me is like Hedorah would win, and part of me is like King Ghidorah would win. But like, I think push comes to shove, I would have agreed with you guys. But yeah, what a great battle that. I mean, like, once again, this is, I don't say wasted, but thrown in the first round. We get Varan and Red King, but then we also get King Ghidorah and Hedorah. We did not do any seeding on this one. So this is the last. This is the last one I would say that has one of the next battle that has one of those, like, how did this get drawn? And I don't have to say anything other than the names. We're getting Baragon against Barugon in this battle for naming rights. I don't know, but to get it, I'm so excited. So for those that are going to G-Fest, if you looked at the rundown sheet on all of the panels, this dude's on there about 50% of the time. And there's a reason why. He knows his stuff. He is the author of the Godzilla novelization project. And he is, like I said, one of the smartest dudes when it comes to kaiju. He is on a ton of podcasts. He's on a ton of YouTube shows. He's like the guest that's on every podcast. Like, you have to have him on your show, right? And that's the great Daniel Damana. So here he is to talk about who he thinks would win in the Battle of Baragon versus Baragon.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. My name is Daniel Damana. I am the creator and author of the Godzilla novelization project and frequent toy and weird thing buyer from a certain online kaiju-related toy shop and collectible shop that shall remain nameless, but they sell weird stuff. They sell cool stuff. And I love this place. And I love the podcast that's associated with it. A little joint you may have heard of, YHS, something, I don't know, I don't listen to it. Anyway, I was asked, from the position of me being some kind of kaiju expert, which, I mean, hey, sure, I'll take the compliment, absolutely. But yeah, being somebody who's into kaiju, and I mean, it's kind of subtle, I don't know if you can tell, there's quite a lot of monsters around here, super into them, that I might be interested in refereeing a little challenge, a little Showa-Down, as it were, some kind of battle royale between a bunch of Showa era kaiju that we all know and love. And as it happens, I was asked to talk a little bit about what would happen if two particularly interesting beasties fought each other. Now, being a toy guy, I'm going to use some visual references. I was asked to talk about this guy, mind the tag, and of course, this guy. Now, if you're into kaiju, these two gentlemen need no introduction, but what we have here is an interesting pairing of size, era, and nomenclature, because we got Baragon and we got Barugon. Yeah. Now, if you can't tell the difference between these two guys, here's an easy way to tell. This is Baragon. He's a sometimes quadrupedal, dinosaurian, lizard-like creature that comes up out of the ground and has a horn on his nose. This is Barugon, who is a quadrupedal dinosaur-like lizard with a nose horn. Does that help? Okay, probably not, but for real, who would win if we were to pit this handsome chap against this similarly handsome chap? Who would take home the crown? Who would take home the crown in this situation? Who would win if you put these two in a fight? Now, in order to figure this out, we really got to take a look at their power levels, things like their history as characters, and what in the world would happen if you put them together. Now, in my expert opinion, I really think that what we're looking at here could, in fact, be a real draw scenario, because in a lot of ways, they're evenly matched. They've both got the ability to move pretty quickly. They both have the ability to use the terrain to their advantage. Baragon can burrow. This guy, wait, maybe he doesn't use the terrain to his advantage. This guy has a nose horn and this guy has a nose horn, so they could both stab each other. Really not a clear winner on that. They both got tails they could slap each other with. They both got back spikes, but where I think the edge is going to come in is in their energy attacks. Because Baragon, and I must also say specifically I'm talking about the 1965 Baragon here from Frankenstein Conquers the World, all he really has is a heat ray. He has a heat ray that comes out of his mouth a la Godzilla. And in the film, Frankenstein Conquers the World, it doesn't really do that much against the Frankenstein monster, aka Frankenstein, aka Big Frankie Caveman. It doesn't really hurt him. It starts a fire, but that's really about it. Let's take a look at this guy. Tag on the other side. Mr. Baragon here is kind of a real who's who. He's almost like a Swiss Army knife. Kind of like Giron, but with more rainbows. Because, yeah, this is the guy that shoots the death rainbow out of his back. It's also the guy who shoots freezing energy from his mouth, from his tongue. And he can also use his tongue as a battering ram. So I think he's got some more melee possibilities when compared to Baragon. So, honestly, if we're going to figure this out, we have to look at their energy attacks. I don't think that Baragon's energy ray would hurt Barugon. I just don't think it would. Now, there's a chance he might be able to use it to attack his back and destroy his ability to use the rainbow, or at least scare him out of using it again. But that rainbow was pretty destructive. I feel like if Baragon hit Barugon, those names, man, with his heat ray, unless he did it just right, it probably wouldn't hurt him that much. But if Barugon hit Baragon with the rainbow ray, we might be looking at some serious damage. Now, what if he combined that with the freeze ray? What if he combined that with the battering ram? If he could get the drop on Baragon, I think the fight could be over. Now, it would depend very much on circumstance. But if it's not a draw, I think Barugon has the edge. Yes, I know, Baragon's beloved. It hurts me just as much as it hurts you, but in my personal opinion, based on the roster of attacks, and the fact that his only weakness is water. That's it. That's his only real weakness, is water, and following diamonds, of course, but that's about it. I mean, this guy dies because he gets his neck broken. I mean, seems like a pretty cut and dry case to me. I think that given the right circumstances, Barugon from 1966's Gamera vs. Barugon is the winner. But hey, that's just my opinion. If you guys agree, let me know. If you disagree, let me know. Again, not a popularity contest. I really love these guys just about equally, but I think in a fight, given that I've talked about this for only 6 minutes, and I think I used pretty much all the evidence to support this, I'm going to declare Barugon the winner. What do you think, sirs?
There you go. Another in-depth analysis. And it goes to Barugon for the battle of naming rights. What say you, Mr. Walsh?
I mean, well, who am I to argue with Daniel? He writes books about Godzilla. Listen, we all love Baragon.
Yeah.
Baragon is a handsome, beautiful creature. And I want the best for Baragon. But you cannot argue. Like, if there were no beam weapons or energy weapons at all, then I would pick Baragon.
Yeah.
But he's got one and it sucks, and Barugon has 4.
And he has the rainbow death ray.
He's got the rainbow death ray.
Rainbows out of his back. I mean, come on.
He might be a little ugly.
Yeah.
Baragon wins in looks, but
Yeah.
you know what? It's not about looks today.
No, not a beauty contest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a cut and dry winner. I think both of you guys nailed it. Okay, the next one is really cool. A totally different, like we think of beasts battling. We're gonna go robot against alien, and alien in their kaiju size, and robot in their kaiju size, because they both can grow and they both can shrink and they both have multiple sizes. This is a good one. And not only do we have a great matchup, we have a great picker. So we're going Jet Jaguar against Alien Bolton in Toho against Subaraya. Good versus evil. And to pick it, I thought I wanted to go to somebody that, yes, they know Godzilla and they know Kaiju, but they also know Tokusatsu, and they're an Ultraman, just a huge super. They're an ultra fan of Ultraman. And a guy, a contributor on YHS across the board, your longtime buddy, and a guy that, hey, we know that he does covers for IDW for Ninja Turtles and Transformers, and he might be doing another one. I don't know if it's been released yet. That is really important to us.
Yeah.
So in a couple of weeks, he's going to be even more relevant. The great John Yerkeba, number 4.
He's the 4th.
To tell us who he thinks will win between Jet Jaguar and Alien Bolton.
Let's do it.
Whew. Jet Jaguar, who I love, versus Alien Bolton, who Guillermo del Toro really loves.
目をつぶってください。目を隠してください。ダメですよ。
This is fantastic. Will you come live with me in Los Angeles?
But Alien Bolton is from Ultraman, which I also love. This is a good matchup. I appreciate you giving it to me because I have probably thought way too much about this, mainly just for fun. You would think it'd be easy to just like copy and paste, like what if you put, Jet Jaguar in Ultraman's position, or you put Bolton in the Godzilla universe or whatever and have him fight Jet. Whatever it takes to like get these two to meet, right?
We have to get these two together.
But I think there are some differences that would make the fight really interesting. Ultraman is a living being. It's a combination of two living beings, but it's not robotic. Ultraman's not robotic. He's very limber. He's very agile. He can move around. And obviously, like, in the end, Ultraman hits him with the Specium Ray, takes care of business. I think if you were to take Jet Jaguar and put Jet Jaguar in that episode of Ultraman, I think Jet Jaguar would still win, but not the same way. I think that Jet Jaguar is, being a robot, not as quick or agile as Ultraman. However, Jet Jaguar is powerful. We see that in scenes like when he just straight up breaks Gigan's arm. Like, just boom, done. You're not using that anymore. It's disgusting. If Jet Jaguar got his hands on Alien Bolton, it'd be tough for Bolton to get away. Like, I don't know if he's breaking free after that. That's a game changer there. Despite maybe not being as quick or agile as Ultraman, Jet Jaguar can shift its physical form. Like, it starts out being pretty human-sized and then grows to 50 meters. If it can shift its physical form in that way, what other ways can it change? What ways can it adjust and evolve to better fight Alien Bolton, Since we see it's reached that technological singularity point of being able to be sentient and to change itself and to shift to meet the occasion, who knows what it's capable of. So I know maybe it might feel like a cop-out when you're talking about, well, it can just change to compensate. But that ability is something that we see in its initial appearance. So, from my point of view, I think I gotta give it to Jet Jaguar in this situation. I also think, and maybe this is just me, I think Jet Jaguar might ultimately make a different decision than Ultraman did. That episode of Ultraman ended with Ultraman finding the mothership of the alien Baltan and destroying it. Homie pretty much committed genocide. Maybe not the best move, and here's where I think Jet Jaguar might do something a little bit different, at least if I was writing the story. He's loyal to humanity, he cares about protecting humanity, but I also think Jet Jaguar would see an opportunity to not kill them all, and would use whatever scanning capabilities, and also the fact that Jet Jaguar is fully a robot. There's nothing human about him. He can survive in space. Jet Jaguar would find the ship, and he would communicate with it. How can we make this work? Whether it's because Jet Jaguar can figure out the alien language, or Jet Jaguar can somehow technologically interpret what they're saying. Jet Jaguar would have that conversation. Jet Jaguar would be like, look, here's what's up with humanity. Let me know what's up with you guys. And I think that conversation could either lead to Jet Jaguar better explaining, better communicating what it is that the alien Baltan need, and maybe they can make a home here on Earth. Or Jet Jaguar convincing them like, hey, you can trust me. Let's do a little technological exchange of information. Let me find you guys a planet. There's plenty of planets out here. So many planets, right? My homie Godzilla, dude has fought creatures from other planets. We've encountered stuff from other planets. Like, we can find you a planet, okay? A planet that can be just yours. I know it sucks that you lost the one you're from, we can find you a new one. I promise you there's one out there. We can find you the perfect home, all right? Let's make this a whole HGTV special. I'm your property brother right now. We're going to make this happen. Any story plays out the way it does because of the way the writer writes it. And if I'm writing this story, I'm giving the fight to Jet Jaguar, but I'm also having Jet Jaguar make a different decision than Ultraman did. And he's going to set the alien Baltan up for success. So the next time we meet, maybe it doesn't turn into this long history of conflict and revenge the way it has for subsequent Ultramen. I'm just saying. Anyway, thank you so much for having me here with you on Monster Island. This has been a ton of fun. I had a great time imagining what this epic throwdown between Jet Jaguar and alien Baltan would be like. And yeah, until next time, stay monstrous.
Okay, is that not the most John Yerkeba answer?
Sean.
I mean,
of course it is. I expect nothing less from John.
I mean, it's crazy that like in the first 2 minutes he gives us the answer to the battle, and then he goes on and rewrites an Ultraman episode.
Rewrites the episode. Should have done it. And hey, he's not wrong.
No, that's the best part.
Listen, I want to disagree with John just because I know it will annoy him. But Jet Jaguar is a robot and he doesn't feel pain.
Yeah.
Okay? He just doesn't. He doesn't feel pain. And I think his very first battle that he ever had was against Gigan and Megalon with Godzilla. And I think he learned a lot in that battle.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he is an ultimate good. Jet Jaguar is the ultimate sidekick. He's the ultimate force for good. He's lovable. He's strong. He can grow. He can do all the things John said, and he wins.
Yep, I agree. And I think Baltan's beam attacks and his rays and stuff probably aren't enough to knock Jet out, and he gets a hold of him and rips him apart. No, I think you guys are spot on. Okay, the next one we're gonna go. Baltan and Jet Jaguar theoretically could be an air battle. Both can fly. This one definitely is going to be an air battle. How about Mothra, 1961 to 64 Mothra, the original Mothra, if you will, against Gauss? Yeah, Showa-Down. So another good and evil. And to help us out, now a lot of our folks, they have a podcast or a YouTube show This dude hosts or co-hosts 3. So he does the Monster Island Film Vault. He does Henshin Men with Travis Alexander, and he also does the Power Trip podcast with Michael Hamilton. He is Nate Marchand, and here he is to talk about Mothra against Gauss.
Hold it. Hey, Jet, what do you think you're doing, okay? You're not even the subject of this video, okay? So you know what? You just sit down right there. Yeah, see? Yeah. You sit down right there, behave yourself. That's what you get for having malfunctioning size-changing powers. Could have warned you that was going to happen, my friend. Could have warned you. Well, now you can go hang out with Gochi-kun and Brokong and Ultramite and Serena while you're at it. Anyway, hello, Kaiju lovers! I am Nate Marchand, the host and curator of the Monster Island Film Vault, a podcast seeking entertainment and enlightenment through tokusatsu. You might also know me from the Henshin Men podcast and the Power Trip, a journey through the Power Rangers franchise. But I have been asked by the good people over at YHS to make a little video as part of the Showa-Down. And I was given the, I don't know if it would be unenviable, not sure, the unenviable task of determining who would be the winner of this particular matchup. Mothra from 1961 and 1964 and Gauss, original Gauss. Okay, are we ready for this? Given that I live and work on Monster Island, even though it is as a film curator, a podcaster, and a broadcaster, I've seen these kaiju a lot. I've been able to observe them. And let me tell you, Gauss, doesn't matter what era Gauss is from, Gauss be nasty. Mothra, on the other hand, very nice. Now, what makes this a little bit difficult, admittedly, is that since it's the Showa era, we're dealing with some relatively powered-down kaiju compared to their Heisei counterparts. Need I say more? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if we're talking Heisei Mothra is probably going to take the W. But looking at the Showa versions, it starts getting a little bit harder to determine. Now, the thing I'm going to get a little technical here. The thing that makes comparing Showa Mothra, if we're talking 1961 and 1964, what makes that a little bit difficult is 1961 Mothra is technically a lot bigger in terms of wingspan. And so a size advantage isn't really going to get anything for Mothra in that case. On the other hand, Showa Gauss got a laser beam. A really nasty one. Can slice through anything. It slices, it dices, it makes chili and fries, and all that fun stuff. And it was also incredibly expensive in the movie, so every time it happens, that's definitely a money shot. Money. So, in terms of just sheer firepower, Showa Gauss might have the advantage there. Can slice through poor Mothra, who's a little bit fragile. Cut off her wings and all that fun stuff. However, if Mothra can manage to dodge all of that, if we're talking a dogfight, okay, Showa Gauss probably still got the advantage, could take Mothra out. However, the trump card, if you will, for Mothra would be her paralysis powder. She manages to hit Showa Gauss with some paralysis powder. That might turn the tide, admittedly. However, Showa Gauss can basically regrow anything. That could be a problem. But the next question I have to ask, and this was not specified when I was given this, is... Are we talking... Well, no, it was adult. So it has to be adult. So we can't do the web thing on Gauss and get that. Nope, that's not going to happen. So, honestly, in my amateur expert opinion, again, I'm not one of the scientists here on Monster Island, I'm probably gonna have to go with Gauss because of the money laser beam and the fact that he can basically regrow from anything. So Unfortunately, I don't see, despite this cover art, I don't see Mothra strangling poor Gauss to death in order to win or anything like that. No, dragging him into a volcano. Well, okay. If Mothra can figure that out, I'm going to retract my statement. If Mothra can figure out that weakness and manage to knock Gauss into a volcano, that might stem the tide. Unfortunately, I don't know how likely it is that she can get Gauss into a volcano. She doesn't really have the offense to do it. So, even with that in mind, Showa Gauss. Sorry, Mothra. I love you, but just can't compete. Not in the Showa era, anyway. Oh, shut up, Jet. Okay? Just shut up, all right? I tried making a video about you and Daimajin, but I wasn't assigned that. Sorry.
So,
wow.
That guy, I love him. He's all over the place in the best way possible. I love that I see how his brain works. That's how he can do 3 podcasts, write books, and do everything else he has, and host like 9 panels at G-Fest. So thank you, Nate. That's awesome. And this is a hard one. To me, this is one of those toss-up battles. I think he did a good job kind of laying out how Gauss would beat Mothra. So what say you, Jake? Are you going on Team Gauss, or are you going to give it to the lady from Infant Island?
Mothra dies all the time. Like, Mothra is best at dying and letting her children inherit her problems. And I don't think she has her children in this battle because that's out. We got one Gauss, we got one Mothra, and he's right with the beam. You know, he's right with the beam. Like, Mothra is gonna get hit. I know Godzilla had a little bit of a hard time, but Godzilla had a hard time with 3 Mothra.
Yeah.
So I'm giving it to Gauss.
Yeah.
Listen, my job is so easy here. I can sit back. I've agreed. I want to disagree with somebody. I feel like I need to, but
well,
everybody's right.
I'm not. I know, right? I'm not a big believer that, like, okay, beam weapon versus no beam weapon, they always win. If that was the case, then Godzilla versus Kong wouldn't be great. And these monsters can survive a lot of them. But in this case, that Gauss laser is going to slice those wings off, and it's going to be over.
I mean, if it, like you said, if it was Heisei Mothra, or if there was something different, it's just Mothra is. I know she's big and beautiful, and we all love her, but I mean, she is just a moth that is on her deathbed all the time, and I hate to use that. I hate to use that trope of Mothra, but I mean, she's a little weak, Or at least the original is. So,
well, maybe the next one you can disagree with. It's a good battle. Please. It is 2 classic Toho monsters. How about Rodan from 1964? So this is not the original 56 Rodan. This is the one we first see in Ghidorah, the 3-headed monster.
Okay.
Against 1955's Anguirus. So the first edition of Anguirus against the second incarnation of Rodan, if you can keep track of that. And so I found, one of the top podcasts that reviews kaiju movies out there is the GargantuaCast, and their host, Chris McDonald. Unfortunately, his video wasn't working, but we got him to submit an audio analysis of this battle between 55 Anguirus and 64 Rodan. So here is Chris to tell us his opinion on who would win.
Hello. This is Chris McDonald, the co-host of GargantuaCast, a podcast dedicated to the kaiju genre as we dive into each film with humor and insight as we try to celebrate this genre as well as look at what it means into the grander picture of genre cinema as a whole. So, I was asked by the lovely people of Tokyo City who would win in a fight. Anguirus 1955 from Godzilla Raids Again versus Rodan 1964, who first appeared in Ghidorah the 3-headed monster. So, I gotta be honest, this is just a one-sided fight. I have to go with Rodan, simply because the thing is, Anguirus 55 died in his second encounter with Godzilla. He was bit in the neck and, drew blood, and then the atomic breath just roasted him alive. While if you look at Ghidorah 3-headed monster, Rodan took the atomic breath point blank and shrugged it off no problem. Not to mention, Rodan fought Ghidorah 3 times. Yes, he didn't solo Ghidorah. He had the help of Godzilla, Mothra, and the other Monster Island monsters in Destroy All Monsters. But you can't just sneeze off the fact that this version of Rodan was a major player in fighting off against Ghidorah, who is considered one of the most powerful monsters of the Showa era of Godzilla. And again, he managed to hold his own against Godzilla himself, while Anguirus 55 just died after the second fight. You gotta keep in mind, it feels like if you rewatch the movie, Anguirus in that movie just feels like a minor subplot to a overall solo Godzilla movie, while Rodan is a major player of Ghidorah Three-Head Monster, of Invasion of Astro Monster, of Destroy All Monsters. So yeah, this is really not much of a debate. If you actually look at just how the fights went down, you gotta go give it a Rodan 64. And I love Anguirus. I love Anguirus 55, but you gotta say, after Destroy All Monsters, that's the Anguirus we really know and love, and if it was Anguirus that we first saw in Destroy All Monsters versus Rodan 64, I would actually say that would be a much more harder fight, but specifically, I was asked Anguirus 55, and that version of Anguirus just couldn't handle Godzilla on his own in a second bout, and, got roasted alive in the end. So yeah, Rodan 64 is the winner.
There you go. Thank you, Chris. And I mean, it's awesome. The dude knows his stuff. He's very smart.
Yeah.
He's been on great writers written for a lot of really cool publications. And he has Rodan winning in a one-sided affair over Anguirus 55. What say you, Jake?
I think if you put either one of these kaiju against any other kaiju, I would be like, yeah, well, they lose. Like, this Rodan and this Anguirus, while I do love Rodan,
yeah,
he's not the best. He's not winning against any of the big boys. He's just not. And neither is Anguirus. So to have these two together, I think makes it a little more fair of a fight. But I mean, he's 100% right.
Luck of the draw on that one.
He's 100% right. Rodan can do more. He can fly. He's got it. He's just got it. There's like it is a little. It does seem a little one-sided because that first Anguirus, like, dude, what is that? We talked about that movie recently, and I was just like, he sucks, dude. He sucks. Rodan wins that.
Well, I'm just hoping if it was.
Hey, Rodan wins, but he ain't making it past the. I don't care who he's against.
Well, especially because he gets the winner of this next battle, and I told you before, like, this is the one. I think if you took betting odds, these could have been two of the most, like, the biggest favorites. Now, we don't have a video or audio for this one because of just, life gets in the way. But the expert that was assigned to this, the great Michael Hamilton of Kaiju Ramen, he just texted me his winner. So I do have his pick. So this battle, like I said, 1974's Mechagodzilla. So from the first one, not his second incarnation in Terror of Mechagodzilla, against the kaiju, the alien, the space dinosaur that defeated Ultraman and widely regarded as one of the toughest kaiju in that universe, Zeton, or just badass. So this is Mechagodzilla against Zeton, and I am going to share with you here the screen here so you can see the tail of the tape, if you will. See if that helps you. So Michael did text it. I'll tell you, he believes, and remember, Michael Hamilton is one of the biggest Mechagodzilla fans in the land. But he says, even though he has this amazing arsenal, he can't compete with the arsenal of Zeton. So he's going with the Ultra Kaiju here. I mean, he has the fireballs. They both have the barriers, which is kind of cool. He has the teleportation. He has the beams. Mechagodzilla has the ray that comes out of his chest. He has the missiles. He has the beam, the rainbow beam, the cross attack beam, if you will, and or the space beam, and made of space titanium. So like this to me could have been the finals of the whole tournament. It really could have been, and we'd have been like, holy cow, I don't know who's going to win. So we have one vote for Zeton. Jake, what do you say? This is really tricky.
This is tricky, especially because I'm not like super familiar with Zeton. Like I've seen this, but it's been so long, and I know it's a big thing. But this one is a little harder personally for me because my Ultraman knowledge is not. That's not. I've seen all of the Godzilla films just over and over and over, and I've seen Mechagodzilla 74 a ton of times since I was a child, over and over and over. I've maybe seen Zeton once, and I haven't been able to give all of that a fair watch. But as I'm reading this, I'm trying to objectively. Mechagodzilla has that like barrage of, like when he's holding everybody back with, he's got missiles, he's got rainbow eyes, he's just got so many things. But he also has like a pretty big weakness with you just like knock his head off and he's done.
Yeah,
I'm reading 1 trillion degrees fireball over here under Zeton, and that's a big one. He has scored over Ultraman.
Yeah,
it's like. Dude, this is hard. This is hard for me because, like I said, I don't have the super. I don't have the super Zeton brain. I just don't have it.
I want a super Zeton brain.
I don't have it, man. This one's a little hard for me. I need you to step in on this one.
Yeah, I think the tricky thing with this one and where my brain was going and why I think this is a fascinating battle is the original Zeton, we don't see any weaknesses. Like he mops the floor with Ultraman. But he's like specially designed to defeat Ultraman. I mean, Ultraman's Spacium Ray, he can deflect it right back and it hits him. He has the laser, the beam that comes out of the yellow part, his mouth. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever it is.
He can shoot the fireballs, which are deadly. And he has the barrier. But once again, so does Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, but if he can deflect Ultraman's beams, then he can deflect Mechagodzilla's. Don't you think?
Agreed. So here's the thing, like, and he can teleport. So whenever he's in danger, he can always teleport, which is kind of a cop out, but Mechagodzilla can fly. But one of the weaknesses that I've given Zeton that I would think would how you beat him is he is not like a close quarter combat person. So like if you get up and can battle it out, that's one thing. And does his deflection work for missiles? I don't know.
Right.
And you have space titanium on Mechagodzilla. So I think we don't know the physics and the mechanics enough on their weapons to know what would block what. We know that he can block a Spacium Ray, but does that work with missiles or does it work with the Mechagodzillas? Does space titanium, is that something that can withstand what
to me, it's also really hard when you have a robot up against flesh and blood because Mechagodzilla's a robot and he doesn't care. Like you punch him, he doesn't fucking care. He doesn't care. It doesn't hurt him. Like unless you're literally pulling Mechagodzilla apart, if those beams or rays or whatever Zeton has don't do internal damage, then Mechagodzilla doesn't care. It doesn't harm him. So it's always a little hard when you got a rope. There's a little more. Dude, 100%. Like, I don't know. Zeton's 10 meters taller. This is a hard one. Like,
and the other notch that people had to think about with Mechagodzilla, Zeton can teleport, right? And that helps him. He can get out of trouble. But with Mechagodzilla's 360-degree spinning head, it's not like he has to turn his entire body, and so he has the ability to at least have to be able to accommodate and kind of maybe get in more attack position. This one can go either way. This is truly a toss-up. I think Mechagodzilla is one of the worst possible matchups for Zeton, and I think the other way as well.
Yeah.
I think like it's truly a coin flip. I without knowing. And it's not really 100 trillion or 1 trillion degrees because that's physically impossible. It would be like blow up the entire world. But I think by a nose, I would probably give it to Zeton. I think very closely. But it would be interesting to see if because he's not going to be able to deflect Mechagodzilla. I may be changing my mind here. He's not going to be able to deflect Mechagodzilla's beam and put the barrier up to block the missiles. So I think actually, end of the close quarter combat, I think maybe Mechagodzilla could eke out a victory in this battle. So I think I'm going to go against Michael Hamilton, and I think I'm going to go with Mechagodzilla. But like I said, it's tough. It's truly tough.
I'm mad at Michael for not doing my job for me on this episode.
He knows so much about Ultraman. He's so smart
he's gonna yell at us for being like, I don't know. I'm gonna hear it like. I host this kaiju podcast, but I don't know enough about Zeton. So I got blind spots, people.
Yeah, everybody has them.
I feel like it's unfair for me to even weigh in really and pick a winner because I just don't know Zeton enough. I haven't seen it in so long.
Yeah. You know what? Then here's what we'll do, Jake. We will side with our expert.
Let's side with our expert.
We'll go with the expert because he is the expert, and we'll go with Michael Hamilton, and we'll have.
He knows more than me. I bow to Michael Hamilton. He knows more than me.
The defeater Ultraman will advance.
Give him my job.
I love it. So, hey, here's what's crazy because the next part will go really fast because it's just you picking the winners. We only have 2 more first-round battles.
Okay.
And this next one, we had Godzilla 54, right? Well, in the draw, I had the other Godzillas as well. And we did get one more Godzilla in the draw, 1968's Godzilla. So the one that appeared in 4 films, Destroy All Monsters, Godzilla's Revenge, Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, Godzilla versus Gigan, Soshingeki Goji. Here he is, Godzilla 1968. And he drew a really tough matchup with, I think, besides Mothra, is it the only female monster we have here? In Jiger. So from Gamera. So Jiger, tons of weapons against that. And to help us out, I went to one of the founders of the Kaiju Collectors Group on Facebook. He also hosts Monsters with Attitude. He's a great collector and one of the nicest dudes around, the great Adrian Settle. So let's see what he has to say in this battle between 68 Godzilla and Jiger.
What's up, Kaiju family? This is Godzilla Chain 90, of course, from our YouTube channel, Godzilla Chain 1090, as well as one host on Monsters with Attitude. So today we're here to talk about who will win between a fight between the 1968 Godzilla and Jiger. Now, both monsters have a lot of things to them. Of course, Godzilla is the absolute king of the monsters, obviously, and Jiger is the super dangerous. What can I even call Jiger? To be honest, I don't know. But she's a deadly monster in the Amazing Gamera series in Gamera versus Jiger. And of course, 68 Godzilla comes from Destroy All Monsters. So, as much as I just want to be biased and just pick Godzilla, I'm not going to be. I'm going to be reasonable. I'm going to be logical. I'm going to be fair. And to be honest, I would probably have to say that Jiger is going to win. No shade thrown at Godzilla, but let's be honest, guys. I mean, as awesome as Godzilla is, when Gamera was fighting Jiger, when Gamera was using his flamethrower breath, it didn't really seem to do too much damage to Jiger. And I don't know if we can compare Godzilla's atomic breath to Gamera's flamethrower breath, but I feel like Gamera's may have been a little bit more impactful. I don't know. I can be absolutely wrong, because Godzilla's atomic breath is nuclear radiation. So who knows how that would react to Jiger? But with that being said, Jiger does have a few things. That does put her at an advantage against Godzilla. Also, her seismic attack, where she was when she's able to make almost made Gamera go deaf. He almost died from that alone. How would Godzilla know to be able to close his ears up so he wouldn't get harmed by that attack? And of course, the major factor that would go into this battle is if Jiger got Godzilla pregnant. Yes, for anyone who hasn't seen the film, Jiger does get Gamera pregnant, and Gamera just about dies. And who knows if Godzilla survives that, because no one's climbing to Godzilla to go take that Jiger baby out, honestly. And I don't know if Godzilla would have the know-it-all to go find the Devil's Whistle. I mean, not saying Godzilla was dumb at all or anything like that, but at the same time, how would Godzilla know that the Devil's Whistle would have been what defeated Jiger? Maybe his instincts would have kicked in like Gamera's did, and maybe he'll go get it. That's a possibility, a big possibility. But is it likely to happen? Especially as aggressive as Jiger is, Jiger probably gonna let Godzilla get there. Because what Gamera had to his advantage that Godzilla doesn't is, at least at that point in the series, Gamera could fly and Godzilla couldn't, as far as we know. Yeah, he flew in Godzilla versus Hedorah, but who knew if he could? But We don't know if he could fly in 68. No evidence shows that he can fly in 68, especially when King Ghidorah takes off in the air and Rodan goes after him. But not Godzilla. He's just sitting on the ground like, oh, Rodan, you got this, right? Okay, bet. So as realistic, as fair as I have to be, as much as I want to say, oh, Godzilla's going to beat the brakes off of Jiger, I don't know. Godzilla has too many disadvantages to him. His only hope would probably be to get the Devil's Whistle. Again, maybe Godzilla's atomic breath would have done more damage than Gamera's flamethrower breath. I honestly don't know, though. From what I'm seeing from both monsters in both films, I'm going to have to say that Jiger takes this one home. By a hair, but Jiger takes it home. But all right, that's all I got for as far as this topic. Have a wonderful night, Kaiju family.
So the big question, Jake, are you getting up there and getting that Jiger baby?
I wish. Man, he's
what
got
about a controversial pick, Adrian?
Yeah, dude. He's got a lot of good points too.
The nicest guy here comes in with the most controversial pick. I love it.
Yeah, but you know what makes me really happy is that I get to disagree with somebody.
I gotta be a tiebreaker
because it's fucking Godzilla, dude. It's Godzilla, and it's Godzilla who defeated Gigan and Hedorah and King Ghidorah, and like it's fucking Godzilla, man. Like I don't have it in me to believe that Godzilla would be taken out by a Gamera foe. I think he had a lot of compelling points, and I would like to see it. I would like to see Godzilla pregnant with a Jiger baby. Yeah. Let's figure it out.
Minya needs a sister.
But what I do know is that, I mean, if you know anything about Godzilla, it's that many, many times Godzilla is faced with odds that you think he cannot, he's not going to make it, but he always does. And it's the thing about Godzilla, well, there are a few, times that it doesn't happen, but like Godzilla, especially this heroic Godzilla of the Showa era, he just always comes out of. It's almost not fair to put him to include him. Godzilla wins.
Okay, so I get to be a tiebreaker, and I'm going to side with Mr. Jacob Walsh. I agree. I think this is one that it's a good fight. I think Jiger has a lot of great weapons, but I do one thing, and Adrian mentioned he didn't feel comfortable making a call on it. I do feel the atomic breath is a step up from the flamethrower breath, and I think that is powerful. I don't think the solid saliva missiles that he shoots out, that she shoots out, do a lot of damage to Godzilla. He's been stabbed and stuff. I think that if he gets impregnated, he can handle it better than Gamera. I think. I feel
like the atomic. Yeah. He's nuclear. I feel like just the nuclear energy in his body kills it. It doesn't
probably not a great time to be talking about that.
Oh, Godzilla has a right to choose and do whatever he wants with his own body, and if he wants to get that fucking Jiger out of there, it's gone, dude.
Yes, amen, brother. Anyway, but yes, I think it is a much better battle. Like Adrian did a good job of like thinking everybody think it's a blowout, and it makes it a lot closer.
Yeah.
But I think Godzilla does get the win. There's something special about this heroic, a little bit more intelligent Godzilla. He can piece stuff together, and he's a good parent. And so who cares? If he has a baby, maybe he has it. And you know what? Who cares? He has it. He becomes a great dad. He's already raised.
Hey, isn't that the ultimate defeat? To raise your foe's child as your own? He's like, I'm going to kill you. Have your child, and your child's never going to know you exist. Godzilla wins.
Yeah. Okay, so this next one, our last one of round one, we've already gone through. This is the 16th battle. This pits. So, and also, this is one that has two expert picks. So two expert picks, and I know they disagree, and you get to be the deciding factor.
Oh, fun.
So
good. I get to disagree with somebody.
Yes, our Gamera foe this time is the evil space squid himself, Viras, and he goes up against the patron kaiju saint of YHS on Monster Island, everybody's favorite Manda, 1968 Manda, in this battle. So the first expert we have is he's helped us out here on the show before from Dallas Vintage Toys. He's contributed to Collect All Monsters and other shows, the great Ryan Wilhelm. And then I'll save the second expert for a surprise. So here is Ryan Wilhelm.
What's going on, everybody? Ryan Wilhelm is here. Shout out to Yes Have Some on Monster Island, Jay Key and Jake Walsh. You guys asked me who I thought would win in an epic kaiju battle between Virus from Gamera and Manda from Destroy All Monsters. And although it's a tough one, I gotta go with the snake. I think Manda's got this one. Thanks for asking me. Hope you guys have a great show. Cheers.
Okay, so Ryan goes with Manda. He goes with Manda in a little bit of upset. So here's the second one. Hey there, friend. How's it going? Jake here with YHS on Monster Island, though you might know me from Toku Toy Town. Or maybe you know me from my science fiction series, The Adventures of Duke Lagrange. Or perhaps you were a fan of the Wrestling Live Support podcast. But regardless, we're here today to talk about the Showa-Down Spectacular. Yes, thank you so much, Jake and Jay, for inviting me to participate. You guys are my mentors, my spiritual guides, and by far the two most handsome men in kaiju commentating. But back to the battle at hand. What an intriguing battle you gave me. You gave me Manda from 1968's Destroy All Monsters, and then the evil space squid himself, Viras. On one hand, Viras, he has powerful tentacles. He has a head that he can turn into a spear and project himself, and he has telepathy. On the other hand, Manda has... He's really, the thing about Manda, he's good at slowly coiling himself around Brit. You know what? Nobody likes Manda. Nobody. So this one's easy. Viras shoots through, boom, slices him half with his spearhead, and it's over. Manda's dead. Knockout, flawless victory. Thanks, guys. Viras with the W. So there you go. The great expert Jay Key himself goes with Viras, and Ryan goes with Manda. So, Jake, you're the tiebreaker. Who goes on to face Godzilla 1968 in round 2?
Well, listen, Ryan, it looks like you're supposed to be at work. Looks like you're recording this at work.
We won't tell him about it.
Dude, nobody picks Manda. Manda doesn't win against anything ever. I'm so surprised. Ryan, I love you, but I'm so surprised anybody would pick Manda to just, I don't know. Manda sucks, man. Manda's out.
Okay, now we're in the round 2, and Jake, this is the second round, so you get to pick the winners.
Okay.
And then I get one veto.
You get a veto
in this round. I could use it. I might not use it. I don't know. So we get, in the first battle, round 2, we get Red King, who had that really great battle with Varan, against Tom Whalen's favorite pile of broken scissors, Zigra. Red King and Zigra in a really good battle.
Listen, I like Zigra. I know I disagreed with Tom, and I apologize. I do like Zigra, and I like Zigra's design, but Red King has a ferocity, and I'm gonna go with Red King.
You go with Red King. Guess what? I'm using my veto.
What?
On the first one. You know why? Because Red King gets sliced and diced all the time, and who better than a broken pile of scissors? I'm going with Zigra as my one veto. So I don't get another one until the next round.
Fine.
So the next matches are yours. Oh, this is going to be a good one.
Okay.
Woo. Gigan against Gamera 1965.
Oh,
could be a main event on any card in the country.
Nah, dude, get fucking Gamera out of here. If it wasn't, listen, if it wasn't original, hey, Gamera, Showa Gamera is a hard contender with anybody.
Yeah.
This old Gamera, I know he's been through a lot of guys, but Gigan made Godzilla bleed. I don't have to say anything else. Gigan.
I love it. Oh, this next one is going to be a great one. You have Shodai Goji, Godzilla 1954, the original, against the tyrant of the tornado tail whip, as Christine said, Titanosaurus.
Listen, some of these are a little hard. I like Titanosaurus, and I think he does well, and I do think he held his own against Godzilla, and and Mechagodzilla. But listen, Godzilla is Godzilla. I just don't know what else to say. Like, I do think there would be a good battle, especially because Titanosaurus is maybe a little bit younger. But Godzilla is Godzilla, and I think he's going to come out on top.
I dig it, man. That's a great pick. So the next one would be awesome, and this one truly should be a movie.
Okay.
Megalon, the Guardian of Zootopia, against 1962's King Kong. Kong and Megalon. Can we send Kong Hollow Earth against Zootopia? No, not Hollow Earth, different Kong.
Whoa.
Against Zootopia.
Okay, so I we talked about it with the Megalon battle earlier, is that Megalon has tons of tricks up his sleeve. And like I said earlier, this is the dumbest Kong in existence. Kong is famously, smart. He's a gorilla. He usually, he's held his own against Godzilla a few times, but I think this Kong kind of sucks. This to me is an easy Megalon win.
I actually think he wins by Kong thinking the napalm things are soma berries, and
he tries to eat them. Yeah,
explodes from the inside.
He's an idiot.
in a battle of epic firepower,
he's drinking all the time.
In a battle of epic firepower, the three-headed space dragon himself, King Ghidorah, against Barugan, the master of the Rainbow Death Ray.
Well, okay, rainbows, nose horns, whatever. King Ghidorah, dude. It's King Ghidorah. It's Godzilla's greatest foe. It's King Ghidorah.
And the flight. I think him being able to fly helps.
Flight, three heads. Yeah.
In another battle of very good against very evil, just like his first round win, Jet Jaguar, instead of going against Alien Balton, has to go against Gauss. In a once again, could be an aerial battle here. Jet Jaguar and Gauss.
Sure. The thing here is that I don't know what Gauss's ray would do to Jet Jaguar. Like, could it cut through Jet, or is it getting deflected? Is it? I don't know. Jet Jaguar is built by a human.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Fuck. I hate to say Gauss, but I think I'm saying Gauss just because I do not know his unnatural ray. Seems like it could be too much for a human-made robot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Gauss. I hate it, but my gut is saying Gauss. I hate it.
The next one, I don't even know if we need to talk about. I think you've already given this one. How about this one? Rodan 64 against Zeton, the defeater of Mechagodzilla 74 and Ultraman.
Zeton. Zeton's got it.
And then, how about this one? This would be a weird one. Godzilla 68 against Viras.
I mean, it's clearly Godzilla. Like, that would be fun to watch. But it's Godzilla.
And you know what I'm really happy about?
What's that?
The veto. I used it on the very first one. I wouldn't have disagreed with anything else you said. I
Okay.
used it on the right one.
All right. Good job.
Okay.
Good for you then.
This is the last round where I get a veto. After this, it's just you, my friend.
Okay.
You ready? We're getting into the finals. The final
right.
8 here.
All right.
The Elite 8. Zigra, who survived via veto and survived me via my tiebreaker. So I'm attached to this guy, but he has to go up against an equally pointy Gigan.
Fuck you, Zigra. It's Gigan.
And I am going to not use my veto.
I was about to say, you better not.
No. Okay, the next one's great. Godzilla 54, Shodai Goji against Megalon.
Whew. So, boy, the thing here is like, yeah, I love Megalon, and I think Megalon he did okay against Godzilla, but the thing is that Megalon is dumber than Kong. He's got a lot of weapons, and that's great, but he is the dumbest kaiju, and I think that hurts him against Godzilla alone. He couldn't defeat. I know it's a different Godzilla, but he couldn't come close to defeating Godzilla with a buddy. He ain't defeating Godzilla alone. This is Godzilla.
Nice. Okay, so we got another aerial battle. We have King Ghidorah against Gauss.
Oh, it's Ghidorah. It's always. I mean, Gauss is cool and he's formidable, but it's King Ghidorah. I think Godzilla's big bad is greater than Gigan or fucking Gamera's big bad. So yeah. I'm gonna take Gauss out.
Okay, so the last chance to prevent an all Toho Final Four, and my last chance for veto. We have Godzilla 1968 from Destroy All Monsters in the next 3 films against the man who got rid of Ultraman, who defeated him in Farewell Ultraman episode 39 of the original series of 1966, the space dinosaur Zeton. This is a good one.
It's a good one. It's a good one, and it's a main event, and I would love to see this.
Yes.
But listen, dude. How can you... I agree that this would be a great film.
Mm-hmm.
You would maybe have other kaiju in it. I think it could be I think this would be a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, this is big time Godzilla stuff. You know what I mean? You just can't I feel bad going through this whole thing and then just being like, oh well, of course it's Godzilla. Like
there's a reason it's his franchise.
It's Godzilla, dude. This is an ultimate good Godzilla. He defeated a lot of dudes. And maybe it would not be as easy of a win as Godzilla versus Megalon, but Godzilla is all good. He's all encompassing. He's all powerful, and he is coming out on top of this battle.
So I have a chance to use my veto here.
You could, but if you're a smart man, yeah,
I'm not. I'm going to keep it pocketed. I agree. I think that there's an intangible that when you look at things on paper and you align their characteristics and you align their weapons and their arsenal and everything, a lot of it sides with the alien space dinosaur, but Godzilla has that intangible, especially that 68. And I think he finds a way, unconventional, a way that maybe we haven't even thought of yet.
Yeah.
And he gets the win.
He does.
And I'm not sure he can reflect the radiation beam back. I don't think that can happen. So, okay. So we're down to the final 4. These are your picks. I can't veto it.
Okay.
In one semifinal over here, we have Gigan from M Space Hunter Nebula against the original 1954 Godzilla. Godzilla 54, Gigan.
First of all, in all of these that are left, I just want to say that I'm getting rid of the size differences because
and these are all about the same size.
These are all pretty about the same. Yep. I don't want to deal with that.
Yep, they're all about the same.
I think Gigan is formidable, but I do not think he's fought Godzilla twice, and both times he needed some help. I do not think he's defeating Godzilla 54. I think Godzilla 54 has a savageness to him that other Godzillas don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like you kind of mentioned earlier, he feels more in pain.
Mm-hmm.
He's lashing out more. He's maybe not the thinker that our other Godzillas are, but he is big and he's fucking mad. He's pissed off and he's in pain. And I think Gigan is getting obliterated by 54.
And we've never really seen this like primal driven Godzilla against another kaiju because obviously he dies with the oxygen destroyer, right? And I'm sorry, Godzilla Raids Again and everything, and Gyakushu Goji is not the original.
No.
The closest I can say is I look at GMK, this primal, like, even though I know that's a little bit more in the fantasy world, and he destroys everything.
Yeah.
I think Shodai Goji, despite kind of the lumbering approach because of special effects at the time, I think he is going to end up being more like that than even the thinking heroic Godzillas. So I like the pick. It might be controversial, because I know a lot of people kind of move past 54, but I think that's a good pick. And so in the other semifinal, he will face either his future classic rival, the great King Ghidorah, or himself just 14 years later. Godzilla, actually, I guess 1999 if you really want to remember. But anyway, he'll face Godzilla 1968, who has already battled King Ghidorah. This is a rematch from what we've seen, but it wasn't one-on-one. So what happens here?
Well,
it was
dude,
2-on-2 or 9-on-1.
Listen, I hate. Part of me hates to do this because I feel like it's uninteresting. Is it uninteresting to get all these people to do these, these really fun battles and then in the end just be like, it's Godzilla versus Godzilla. Maybe it's uninteresting.
Maybe it's so predictable that it's unpredictable.
It is predictable. That's why I'm saying, like, maybe we should have took Godzilla out of it. Godzilla wins. Godzilla fights. Godzilla always beats King Ghidorah. He always beats King Ghidorah. He's on top. He always beats King Ghidorah. He's the winner. We're doing Godzilla versus Godzilla.
And in the finals, I'm going with Godzilla. But is it going to be Shodai Goji, Soshingeki Goji, Godzilla 1954, Godzilla 1968? I mean, two classic versions of our favorite radioactive monster. Who do you got?
Well, this is hard because...
And it has to be unanimous or we go to the coin flip.
Okay. This is a little hard for me because, first of all, it's Godzilla versus Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they both have advantages. I think I feel like Godzilla 54 has that, like I was just saying, he's got that savageness. I feel like he's a little more, he would get in there and just do the business and get the fuck out. Like, I think he could just take care of himself. But then there is the little more of the little smarter Godzilla and maybe the Godzilla that thinks a little more. But is that a good thing? Or does 54 just be like, I don't fucking care that you can just... Jay, what are we doing, man? I don't feel like one of their atomic breath is any. One of the things about Godzilla's atomic breath is that it got to a point where, especially in those middle films, where it didn't feel very special. It was used a lot. It was used on every monster. It wasn't a finishing move.
Mm-hmm.
But in 54, it fucking destroyed Tokyo.
Yeah. But we never see it against another monster.
That's what I'm saying. So we never see it against another.
Gaps.
Jay, this is so hard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with my gut here.
Okay.
And I wanna say that the original 54, that his anger and this the fucking power inside of him, and the just the fact that he doesn't care. There's no good or bad with him. There's no reasoning with him. He doesn't care about how smart you are. He just is angry and he wants everything to pay and he wants the pain to stop and he doesn't care about anything. I think he defeats the other Godzilla, and I'm going 54.
Wow. Well, I don't know. To me, I was thinking if 68 we have him beat somebody as powerful as Zeton. By that, because he always just finds a way, because he's heroic and he's good. Would he do the same thing against a beast? Less armaments, less weapons, but evil. Would he find the way against this chaotic evil, this force of nature? 1954. But then I think the most powerful thing over all these monsters is nature. And could the force of nature be the determining factor? I don't know. It's close. I gotta say, in my movie, I think I go with Godzilla 1954. And so he's our winner. No coin flip needed. In the ultimate cop-outs, in the ultimate of predictable, in the ultimate of just getting people pissed at us, we're going with the easiest one of them all.
Eye rolls all around.
Eye rolls. We spent this whole time building this wonderful video.
I feel so bad
and we're going to piss everyone off.
I feel so mad,
way.
Dude. I feel so bad. We made everybody do all this work, and then we're just like, no, it's Godzilla. I just think, like, God, maybe that's the boring answer, but he's Godzilla for a reason. He's got 37, 39, whatever, however many fucking movies. It's for a reason. He is. I think the only way. I think our issue is that here. This is what I'm gonna say. Next time we do one of these, we're gonna take Godzilla out of it.
Okay.
I think you have to, because, like, otherwise, I don't have it in me to not pick Godzilla. I just don't. Like, I'm lying to myself and to the world if I were to say fucking some Ultraman kaiju beats Godzilla. I just don't have that in me. It's just not.
We just lost our Ultraman fan base over.
Dude, I'm sorry. I love Ultraman, but like, let's face it, it's Ultraman. He's over here, and Godzilla's like he's a little bit above. So I'm sorry.
I love it, and you know what? We went down simultaneously the path most traveled and the path least traveled. I think our experts and all our fans, I hope they will share their opinions. I'm very curious to see how many of them pick Godzilla, one of the two incarnations of Godzilla, to win it, and how many go with Ghidorah,
I would love
Zeton or Mecha Godzilla. There's a lot of good.
I mean, I would love if any of them. If any of them watch this and disagree, I say make another video, and maybe on the next episode we'll put everybody's. I would love to hear that. I would love to have all of these guys back on the show. Everybody we had,
are they great?
Yeah, everybody was great, and I want to just give an open invitation to anybody that was on tonight, and we'll talk about whatever you want. If there's a toy you love or a specific movie or episode of Ultraman or anything, we'll watch it and we'll do an episode about it. I think this was a lot of fun. I would like to do more of these, but I do think we gotta, I hate to say we gotta take Godzilla out, but I think it's the only way to come to a more interesting conclusion. Because as we were doing this, I was like, in my head, I'm like, oh,
who can beat Godzilla?
Who beats Godzilla? No, nobody does. Unless you had Oxygen Destroyer is one of the things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I can only report on what I know, and I know that Godzilla 54 is one of the greatest creations of all time. And even though I've never seen him fight somebody, I think he'd fucking
that's
savagely do it. So
that's the other reason I sided with you, because at the end of the day, I got two things saving me. First, I'll blame you, and second, nobody can say that what 54 can do against another kaiju, because he's the only one, I think, to my knowledge, here doesn't face another kaiju. So we get to fill in the gaps.
Yeah. I'm sorry if this was a disappointment, everybody, but it's Godzilla.
You know what? Hey, up until what we'll do is we'll go up until that final, maybe final four or so, and then we'll just cut the episode.
Listen, I'm looking at the time. We're at 2 hours and 44 minutes. People are listening to this for 2.5 hours just for us to be like, yeah, Godzilla's the best. I love that. I still want to see David's Frankenstein movie.
Yes.
I really want to see that. I really like that John
rewrote an episode of
fucking like redeemed alien Balton and gave him a purpose. I
learned a lot.
Hey, I did too, man. I love the research everybody did, and just
we do appreciate
everybody took it seriously and went, and yeah, I appreciate it. This was very cool. I love this. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, that's all I got for the showdown. Next, we got, I guess, the Heisei Hoedown next. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that. We'll do Heisei next. That sounds good.
I'll turn down. Orochi's winning.
Hey, I didn't show this off, but I got Orochi on VHS over the week.
Yeah, I know. I hate you.
It wasn't in my pickups, but I found it, dude. When I was paying for it, there were a couple different guys working the front, and they were going through the things, and he goes, oh, he's buying the Orochi. Somebody was excited about it. It's probably been sitting on that shelf for fucking years. Yeah. So guys, thank you. Thanks for being here. Anybody who stuck through this whole thing, you're awesome. Thank you. We're back, and we'll do this again in 2 weeks.
Talk to you later, guys.
Bye guys.